I don't remember how true this is for other beverages, but I took a beer class years ago when I was really young in college, and they were talking about wine and beer and how people don't typically associate canned beer or wine with being like bougie or anything like that, but it keeps the beverage fresher than the glass. So I
I
don't
can see that.
know.
Yeah.
There are so many interesting psychological things that are just like, I don't know. I'm that person that's always into the really random, obscure like facts that no one remembers.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things. Another one is vacuums, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, and they don't have to be super loud, but I think what happened, if I remember correctly, is that companies started to figure out how to make them quieter, but people associated the loudness with functionality.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they kept the loudness of the vacuums, or like heft and the weight with like something that's expensive, like a
Sure.
phone.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's really interesting.
Yeah, like I remember the color purple is like associated with like royalty, and so that's why people use that.
I just thought of Barney, to be honest with you, right
No,
now.
purple is like if you like look at like fancy like probably like a Michael Kors website or like,
Uh,
they use purple because it's like royalty. Like with like
yeah,
people over in England. It's purple. I don't know.
purple. Purple is a nice color though.
Purple.
That's true. Look at
My
that.
bubbly
Nice.
purple.
You must feel extra royal today then, because that's
I
purple.
do. I
That's
do.
good.
Did he send this yet? I'm like terrified to miss it. Like I don't want to miss the email. How did you end up on this?
I emailed him.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I found his content came through my For You page on TikTok, just
How
like
did you
kind
end
of
up on this?
randomly, or so I think. I don't know. The algorithm
I
has plans
emailed
for
him.
me. But
Right. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but
Yeah,
anyway, I
I
found
found
his
this is
content came
great.
through. I really like how approachable he is. I think that's really important. There's a lot of toxicity on social media as it is, especially like when it comes to dating or when it comes to like the war of the genders or the sexes.
Yeah.
So I really liked that it wasn't, like Macho Man Randy Savage, blah blah blah, and like, um, I feel like it's, he
He.
said at the beginning to educate is the purpose, and I think
Mhm.
that's really important. So
So I knew nothing about him except he commented on this video that went. I don't know what's considered viral, but it got like a bunch of
mhm.
views. And he was like, "Do you want to be on my dating website or show?" And I was like, "Sure," but I never like checked out any of the stuff. And I was like, "Just
Yeah.
email me." He emailed me, and then I didn't hear from him for like a week or two. And then he just got back to me today and was like, "Oh, can you do the show tonight?" I'm like, "Okay, sure."
Same
Um,
thing with me.
but he's a lot like friendly is the word, but he's also this seems a lot more like insightful than I thought like a random guy on the internet was gonna be. So
Yeah,
pleasantly surprised.
absolutely. I mean, I don't know what kind of questions we're really going to be like diving into or asking each other, because he laid out what our plan is, but I guess one of the things that would be interesting to address is just like insight, and kind of like being able to ask the right questions is really a large part of being insightful, I feel like, because everyone's so different with the way their brain works and the way they approach problem solving with, whatever it is their
Uh-huh.
specific problem is.
Yes.
So it's like, well, he doesn't seem to be like shoving things down people's mouths. So I'm
So you
like, yeah,
usually
let's go.
watch his stuff.
I just like recently discovered his stuff. I try not to spend a ton of time on social media, so like I haven't seen a ton of his videos, but I've seen probably like at least 20-ish or so of his videos.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for
like
sure.
I'm like totally blindsided, but like that's just what I do is I just like jump into stuff blindsided. I feel like it's character building.
It is. It is. It's fun. It's really fun.
But the funny thing is
Mhm.
I did make a video recently that again got some views and it was about because I don't know if you've seen that TikTok where it's that comedian that's like I don't know what he's talking about, but people do like when you go from a long-term relationship to what's your favorite color and they're like bang
Uh-huh.
bang 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 click reload bang 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 bang
Yeah,
like
I've
fuck
seen.
that shit.
I've seen
You
that
seen
one.
that
Yeah,
one?
yeah, yeah.
And so I stitched that and I was like dating doesn't have to be that painful. Like I was like when I go out on first dates I ask people like what's your deepest fear? Like, what do you think happens when you die? Like,
Yeah.
I ask these questions because I want to dissect someone in the first date, because I can tell real quick whether they're going to be like my person or not, because I have a very particular type. But also just like a way to like really get to know someone. Like, I don't like telling me your favorite color or what you had for dinner last night doesn't tell me shit about you.
That's
So
true.
I really appreciate like thought-provoking conversations. So I think this should go well. We'll
It should
see.
go well. One of the things that I like to tell people, I mean, granted, it's when I can remember it or when the situation calls for it, is that,
Sure.
like there's a issue with silence in Western culture. And sometimes like everything is really great, the energy's going, and then it just drops. And then it's like silence, if you just call it out, it's like, like I'm just don't know what to say right now, but that's cool. Like, let's just chill in silence for a little bit, and the point is that it can take time to figure out where you connect with another person. So I can understand your approach with not wanting to just talk about colors or, like, what did you eat for lunch today? Like it's preschool. It's like, yeah, I mean, we gotta, we'll find a way to get the conversation going. And then usually that's enough to be like, oh, okay, like it's cool, things don't have to be weird, it's like, let's just leave it as it is. We'll eventually find our way back to the conversation. So
I agree. I do appreciate silence though.
mm-hmm.
I appreciate. Yeah. Okay. I got it open. I muted it.
Oh, okay.
I hope I did this right. We'll see. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. I have everything up.
Is he gonna unmute?
Okay. All right. It took a while.
You're good. You did it.
It took a while, but we did it. We did it. My lord, having 5 chats is
Yeah, that's insane.
We did it. By the way, you guys have me blushing, okay? Thank you, by the way. Thank you. Got me blushing over here.
Could you hear me?
I heard everything. You guys have me blushing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Austin, welcome back. Austin, welcome back. Welcome back. Good to see you. All right. So, welcome, guys. Chat, let me introduce you to Hannah and Keto. Guys, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us where you're from, how old you are you single, are you dating, and then whatever else you feel comfortable sharing. All right, who wants to go first?
Rock, paper, scissors. Wait, out of 3 or out of 1?
Out of 1.
One round.
Okay, call it out. Just that way we're not lagging.
Ready? Rock, paper,
scissors, shoot. Rock.
Oh, damn it. I totally messed up. Can we do it one more time, please? One more time.
Well, okay, sure. I'm
One
fair.
more time.
So on shoot. All right, my bad. I was going on 3 in my mind.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock.
Oh, paper. Paper wins.
You go.
Do I go first?
Yes.
You get to choose, I guess.
Okay.
Or you go.
Okay, yeah, I'll go first. So, hey there. My name is Keto. I'm 26 years old. I'm from San Diego, California. Live in California with my girlfriend. She's at work right now. I do developmental editing and marketing copy. So that's just like writing things for businesses. And I guess that kind of wraps it up, at least for me right now.
Are you say you're in a relationship? How long you been in a relationship?
Yes, sir. I am in a relationship.
How long?
It's been about a year and a half.
A year and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
Your turn, Hannah.
Hey, I'm Hannah. I am 30 years old and I live in Wyoming. I have been single for just over 2 years. By choice, because I am very particular, and I work in construction. and I have my own small business. I'm a workaholic, but I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. What's the best thing you guys? What's the number one thing you love about what you do?
Ooh.
I'll start with you, Kito.
Okay, sure. Yeah, no problem. The thing I think that I love about what I do, are we talking about work specifically? Yeah, is that it comes from my development as a child with my mom feeding me a lot of just books, a lot of literature. And so that really played a big part in my development growing up. And so I just really loved spending my time in books, and eventually that led to just marketing, copywriting, figuring out how to use words for people's benefit. So that's what I really like.
Okay. What about you, Hannah?
I love running big equipment. Makes me feel big and tough, but
That sounds very dirty, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
running. Well, I see a lot of dirty things. I don't know what the rating of this
Go
show
on,
is.
go on. You're good. You're good.
I love running heavy machinery. Does that sound better?
Yeah.
I like working for myself. I love the hustle. I love the grind. I have no college degree and I came from no money, but I'm somehow making it work and living in the most expensive place in the country. So it's pretty cool.
Wow, that's freaking awesome. Real quick, first off, I want to welcome a few people. Austin, thank you so much for the 20 dono, man. My ninja, Austin, ladies and gentlemen, let's give you a shout out. Thank you, Austin. I appreciate it. Don't Sweat Kid, welcome back. Kathy, welcome back. Kathy agrees, it does sound dirty, so not just me. By the way, Kathy, that's my girlfriend right there, the wifey.
My wife.
Okay, so we're gonna get right into it, okay? Because I know we don't have a lot of time, and I seriously thank you guys for coming out, and I appreciate it, okay? Now,
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thank you.
when it comes to dating, what specifically are you looking for in a partner? I'll start with you, Hannah.
Oh boy. My number one thing is respectful of me and respectful of other people. I want someone that has work ethic and integrity, someone that takes care of their body. My thing is being physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially just well off, like a very well-rounded person.
Okay.
Can see why I'm still single, because I want someone to check all of these
That
boxes.
sounds like all characteristics. It doesn't seem.
No, so I'm
shallow
not
or
saying
anything.
like I want
That
someone
sounds
like
great.
6 foot that makes 6 figures.
Yeah.
I just want someone that's responsible and, has humility and respect, but is also confident and, just a even-keeled person, like a just looking for an even-keeled, responsible adult.
I take that.
Yeah.
I take that.
Yeah.
Keto, if you weren't in a relationship right now, what specifically would you look for in a partner?
That's a great question. I think specifically it would be, do you know what you want? Because in my mind, two people need to be able to be happy with each other, but not because of each other. And so...
Ooh, I love that. Okay.
and so if they know what they want and who they are, it doesn't matter to me what kinds of trials and errors we go through. Obviously, they're going to, be things that come out of the woodworks as the relationship goes on. You learn about pet peeves, you learn about things that bother you, things that aren't okay. It's not like you're committing up front, while you're dating, but it's really just keeping an open mind with people and just making sure that off the bat, they know what they want and they have a pretty solid idea of who they are, so that there won't be any confusion about how we're going to live our lives if we decide to do that in the same house or not.
Okay. Wow. You guys are on point. First of all, let me go back to you, Hannah. It sounds like you've been asked this question quite a lot, because you were on point. You like bam, bam, bam. You knocked it out the park right there. So as a follow-up, when it comes to either online dating or when it comes to meeting someone, do you share this information a lot with the person, or does someone else ask you this question a lot?
Because of that TikTok I made recently, a lot of people kept asking about what my standards are and like why I was still single. So
Okay.
I've made quite a few TikToks about what my standards are and why I'm still single. And I just know what I want. Like
Isn't that an awkward question? Why are you still single?
I mean, I get they're kind of saying it in a complimentary way,
Yeah.
but I also live in a 10,000 person town. Like
Okay.
it's really hard to meet people. I've tried dating apps and I I don't like it. I regret it every time I use them.
We're gonna talk about that later, dating apps specifically, but continue.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is this: it's a numbers game. There's not enough people out there.
And I'm
You're down to
picky.
10,000 people.
Yeah, and I'm picky.
Okay, that's fair.
I refuse to settle because I have very high standards for myself, and so I don't know. I just expect the person like if I spend time with someone, they're gonna add to my life. They're not going to bring it down.
Okay. Let me add onto what Keto said, and I'm going to join it up with what you just said, right? To put specifically, happiness, right? I love what you said, Keto, where it's just like, listen, I need you to be happy alone. So when we come together, we can be happy together, right? Being happy alone matters. Like you got, I always said this, before you start dating anyone, you need to date yourself. And
100%.
you need to know what makes you happy. You can't jump into a relationship and expect that relationship to make you happy. Right? So happiness matters. So I see that based on your TikTok videos, Hannah, you work on yourself quite a lot, like internally, that matters tremendously. And I can tell when you're describing your partner, your ideal partner, you're not talking about anything physically. You're talking about all internal stuff, which I think is freaking amazing. What do you think, Keto?
Yeah. I definitely think physicality is an important part. Chemistry goes both with that and with just emotions, being able to connect. But definitely for me first, it would be, can we engage on an emotional and philosophical mental level? And then the physicality can come second. That's not as important. Life is way too short to only care about sex. So,
good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Okay, so real quick, share with me your best or worst dating story. All right, I'll start with you, Keto.
Oh gosh, probably my worst dating story.
Okay. Everybody, get your popcorn, guys. Get your popcorn. Here we go.
Yeah. I don't really have any like terrible dating stories, but probably just I wasn't connecting with the other person, and I think the other person kind of felt it.
Connecting
I haven't
how?
really
Like physically or chemistry?
Chemistry in terms of just like emotionally, like where we saw ourselves, what we wanted out of a partner.
Okay.
I think and this was a while ago, but at least for me, what she wanted seemed a little bit superficial, but that's also probably because I was older. I was like 5 years older.
What did she want?
I think she just wanted to kind of mess around a little bit, and for me, like that's fine, but I think she also wanted kind of like a friends with benefits situation.
Okay.
And for me, at least personally, it's really important to be able to connect emotionally with the person if I'm going to have sex with them, because for me it's empty otherwise. So yeah.
Okay. That's amazing. I respect your truth. Hannah?
I got a good story.
Oh yeah, here we go.
So I met this guy. So I'm not afraid to give my number out to people because a lot of men don't approach me. So I gave my number to this guy, and I ended up having to go work out of state for 2 months, a week before I met him. So I met him at the construction company that I work for. He's a trucker that I work for. So I gave him my number. We actually kissed on the day before I left, and I went out of state for 2 months. But we texted, phone called, video chatted pretty much every day, like basically saying like he wants to marry me and I'm perfect. And, I'm like, we'll see when I get back. Like I, just literally met you, but he seemed great. Like he was my type. And then I get a phone call in the middle of the night and I'm like, hello? And she's like, I'm so-and-so's girlfriend. And I was like, I laughed I'm not even kidding you. I laughed for a good like 30 seconds straight. It gets better. Save your your reaction. So she's like, and I couldn't stop laughing. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, this is horrible. And I was like, so wait, y'all live together? They've lived together for 1.5 years. He was talking to me, like sending me photos of his house, pretending like it was his house. It's actually in her name. He's got 4 kids that she was helping raise. And he also got his ex-girlfriend pregnant, that he cheated on her with.
Bruh, what?
Yeah, no, but okay, no, it gets better. When he kissed me the day before I left, she also worked at the same construction company as I did. So he like kissed me in the front of the construction company while his girlfriend was out in the back. And I mean, the whole time I was in Vegas for work. You know, he's just telling me he can't wait to come back. He's gonna come visit me, and it was just lie after lie after lie. And then she also told me that I was one of maybe 6 other women that he was telling that he loved. She got into his iPad that was linked to everything. And like he sent me photos from like before or after they had just got done having sex. Like complete sociopathic behavior. But because I have my self-worth intact and I'm a, you know, confident, strong individual, I didn't make anything of it, except I was pissed that my time was wasted. Like I literally like spent 2 months talking to someone with the intention of possibly dating them when I came back, and he was living with this woman, and everything about his life was a lie. Everything.
God damn.
Yeah.
Keto, I'm gonna let
She's
you respond first.
Yeah, no, go for it.
She said she had never seen so many nudes in her life from his iPad. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was great. Great conversation.
I'm gonna go to chat real quick. Okay. Kathy's asking, with everything that he was doing, is that love bombing?
Define love bombing.
When he was saying that, oh, I want to be with you, you're the perfect person, you're fantastic, I can't wait to see you, and apparently he's been saying the same thing to other people as well. So, is that what love bombing is?
I suppose. I've honestly never used that term, but I think he definitely like took it to an unnecessary level. I think he just liked the validation from other women.
Okay. What do you think, Keto?
I'm looking at the comment, who has that much time?
Right?
I agree with that.
So much. I don't know how he did this with so many women. I was like impressed. Like your time management skills. Fuck.
My lord. Like, does he have a different iPad for each woman, or like what's going
there's
on?
levels to this.
Definitely not okay, unethical in my mind. If you can't be authentic, then I don't know. It's just good thing it didn't work out, because if it did, it would have been worse probably had you found out later. So I'm glad you found out when you did.
We're definitely gonna come back to this story later, because one of our topics for today, the main one, is monogamy versus polygamy. So we'll go back to this for sure. Wow. Just wow. There's no way to save this guy. Even if you want to try to save this guy, like, hey, what's your mind thought first? Your mind, what's the process going on through your mind? Like, I don't know how to save this guy. This guy screwed himself over in every single way.
Kicker is I saw him follow me on TikTok recently too.
Oh, so you know he's keeping track then. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
He's social media stalking for sure.
My lord.
That is hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Thanks for sharing that, by the way. Great story.
It's my pleasure. I love that story. I hold it dear in my heart.
Damn, I don't have a good story like that. Oh man. All right. I guess mine would be, I accidentally double booked with 2 people. Let me be more specific, right? I let's just say it was, I forgot what day it was specifically, but let's just say it's a Saturday, right? I put one for 3 o'clock and I put one for 7 o'clock. And the only reason why I double booked is because people cancel all the time. And I don't want to waste the rest of my day. There's been multiple times where I have one date set up and the person canceled. I'm like, crap, what am I doing for the rest of my day? So I learned to double book, right? Now, it turns out in this situation, about 30 minutes before the first date, the girl texts me, hey, I just realized you're about to go on a date with my best friend later tonight. both of them were best friends. And I was like, wait, what? How do you know this? Wait, who's your best friend, first of all, right? And they're like, oh, we had brunch and we were catching up, and we both said, oh, we're going on a date tonight. And they looked and saw my dating profile, and it was me, right? And it gets better in the sense that they were like, you know what? They were like, they both canceled on me. And I said to them, I was like, okay, fine, that's cool. I threw out like a philosophical question. I said, hey, what if by some chance you guys missed out on somebody incredible, right? Y'all are best friends. Chances are y'all have similar interests, similar taste, right? And it's a dating app. I didn't commit to anybody. I put 1 for 3 and I put 1 for 7. There's a huge time gap in between, right? They're like, you know what? Good point. Come meet us right now. And I met up with both of them, and they were like dolled up. I'm talking about like date ready, and I clearly was not at the moment. I was still getting ready for the first one, but I sat in between both of them. They drilled me with questions. They were just like, so we reviewed our notes. You kind of use the same lines on both of us, and I'm like, yes, because I have qualifying questions. If either of you answered any of these questions wrong, I wouldn't be interested, but the both of you did, right?
If you smell what the rock is cooking.
Ben, thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome back to the sub team, man. Welcome back. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. So, in this situation, they were like, okay, so why did you double book? I'm like, well, people cancel all the time. It's just facts. And let me ask you, Hannah, how often on a first date, have you canceled compared to a guy canceling? And same goes for you, Kita.
I mean, I've maybe canceled like 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. Okay, Kita.
I don't think I've ever canceled because I think it's important to see someone's face in person. Nothing speaks like being there in front of the other person about who they are, what their behavior is like. Yeah. If anything, I've been canceled on because I'm just authentic. Like, I will be not my absolute darkest self, but I'll be like my craziest self. And so, I've definitely, as I've got more comfortable, I've been canceled on. But other than that, I give people a fair chance. I'll only cancel if something really...
So I think my reason was pretty valid, right? I just said, hey, I didn't put y'all for the same time. I put y'all for different times. So then you're like, oh, what if you kissed one of us? Would you go on a date with the next one? I'm like, yeah, a kiss is a kiss. What is this, high school? We've kissed so many people our whole life. It's just a kiss, right? And then you're like, okay, but what if you had sex with one of us? And would you go on the next date with us? I'm like, if the date was going to lead to sex, I would have canceled on the other person. I'm not going to just have sex and then dip out and then go to my next date. I would cancel, right? And again, as I said, people cancel all the time, right? So, it was like this for like 3 hours. And then, what does mean 3 hours? We had more drinks. Next thing you realize, I'm on a date with both of them. We're like talking, they're sharing their feelings, they're sharing all this stuff. And then at the end of it, they were just like, you know what? Even though this might not work out between all 3 of us, we all should be friends. And I said, listen, honestly, I don't know if I can be friends with both of y'all because I'm going to be tempted to have sex with one of you. All right? There's alcohol involved. I'm attracted to both of y'all. I know y'all are attracted to me because we matched. We're about to go on a date today. It's going to be complicated, right? So I was honest. I was like, listen, if you want to be friends, cool. I don't know if I can keep it in my pants. If we're like hanging out and, if there's chemistry, because I think there's chemistry between all of us right now, right? But yeah, I don't know. That's not my worst dating story, but I think it's the most interesting. So.
Got you. I have something to say about that.
Yeah, talk to me.
Yeah, so I think it's really important to qualify other people because obviously you want to make sure that they're going to be a good fit for you, a good match for you, and everyone should do that. I think a big problem with men is holding up, at least that I've seen, is holding up women on a pedestal because they don't know how to talk to them. They don't know how to approach them. Really, it comes down to making sure you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. And I think a lot of men carry over that high school mentality of, you know, like creating this crush obsession with somebody, and, you know, you're trying to create a reason to care about them, and so you get hyper excited, but the other person has no reason to care about you. Like, none of you have any reason for mutual investment. So I think it's just really important to take a step back, and say, hey, you know, let's just figure out if this goes anywhere and just take it from there. You know, it doesn't have to get complicated. I also think it's important to ask the question, can you be friends or can you not be friends with someone who's the opposite sex? I do think it's possible.
Guys,
but
I'm so sorry. This is literally
Yeah.
what I wrote. What we're talking about right now, that was the
Uh-huh.
debatable questions. Like,
Oh, really?
I wrote down monogamy versus polygamy, and I wrote down, can two people who are attracted to each other just be friends? And that's literally what you're going into right now. No, just go. Sorry,
Sweet.
this makes me happy.
Sweet.
Go on.
Yeah. I'm glad I could jump right in, but I do think it's possible. I do think you need to make sure you have no shred of a doubt that there is attraction present. Because if there is attraction present and it just happens to be the quote unquote right circumstance where, you know, maybe you have a little bit more booze, you're feeling a little vulnerable, a little weak, something might happen that you're going to regret. So you really have to know yourself and make sure you're able to stay consistent to what you commit to.
That's why I can't do brunch with them. They're like, hey, let's be, because I love bottomless brunch, and they're like, hey, let's go to bottomless brunch together. I'm like, alcohol, and like I talk a lot more when I drink, and
Yeah.
you know, when you're tipsy, you get a little bit more horny. So I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for anybody else, right? So I'm like, and I'm hanging out with y'all. No, I don't want to put myself in that situation because I'm gonna flirt. So yeah. Hannah, any feedback?
I definitely agree that it's really hard when there is sexual tension that stems from attraction, but then also like if you have some sort of chemistry, it's just like the icing on the cake, right?
Yeah.
So I would definitely deal with it on a case-by-case basis, but I also don't ever like to tell my partner who they can and cannot talk to. Like, it's just not my place. And if something were to happen, like, I would just have to be confident and secure with myself to know that I'm going to be okay if something were to happen.
Okay. So I'm gonna go to you, Kito. Give me your best two dating tips out of everything you've learned.
My best two dating tips out of everything I've learned.
Yeah.
I would say, so I'm someone who suffers with anxiety and depression clinically.
Okay.
And so I think it's really important to understand two things, at least from my perspective and anyone else who might be like me, is that life is like a pendulum. Sometimes when you're trying to do something new, it can feel awkward and it can feel unnatural, but you have to practice that. You just have to in order to naturalize it. Like driving a car feels really unnatural in the beginning, but it becomes second nature. So you got to make it second nature. You got to take the jump. You got to take the leap. Sometimes you're not going to find what works for you immediately. So it's going to swing back and forth from one extremity to another until you can find what works for you and how to interact normally and feel like yourself with whatever new practice you're taking on, especially if it comes to dating, when it comes to talking to women, when it comes to getting vulnerable. And the second thing is that we're all making it up as we go along anyway. So, I mean, literally, you know, business owners create products that we accept into our collective realities. Presidents create speeches that become part of our collective reality. Literally, just put yourself in there, go for it. Just give someone an experience they wouldn't have otherwise had. Whether or not that works out well for you or well for them or bad for you or bad for them, create experiences with people because we're all here together and we need to find a way to connect with people. And you're not going to do that by being by yourself and doing nothing about it. So that's pretty much it.
Hannah?
I think my number one piece of advice with dating is just be honest with yourself and be honest with other people. You know, mitigate your expectations, be clear with your intentions. I don't think there's a better way to go into meeting someone without honesty. And then my second best piece of dating advice is to just do something fun, like whatever is like most comfortable to you. Like I know some people are like, I want to go, ATVing on a first date with someone. Like, it could end up really bad.
It can.
I love taking people to dinner because I love seeing how people treat the servers. Because I bartended for like 10 years.
That's your test, right?
That is my test. Is if you don't say please and thank you, if you don't hold the door, like if you don't tip right, like I'm automatically just turned off. So I don't want to judge people, but it's inherent in our nature, and especially when you're going to meet someone, like you have to judge someone, right? But based on how someone treats other people is how I judge them. So that's my test. Dinner's simple.
That's good. What's crazy? David, welcome back. Good to see you. What's crazy is I usually don't push for dinner as first dates. Here's why. It's very committal. If there's not chemistry, if there's not a vibe, if you're not physically attracted to the person, it's a little harder to get out of dinner. I like your test a lot because it's an environmental test. You see how they react in certain situations. But what if you're just not feeling them right off the bat? Are you going to stay till dessert?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm really good at making people feel comfortable. And even if it's not the ideal situation, like I'm going to muster through it. And I'm just a big fan of like adversity builds character. Like do something that sucks every day. Like David Goggins is like one of my idols. Okay. So if you're what's that?
I love David Goggins, yeah.
Yeah. And like this is like obviously not a David Goggins thing, but it's just like uncomfortable situations like are the best thing for growth, right?
Agreed.
Like what's that?
Agreed.
Oh yeah. It's just how you develop character, and if every single date you went on was just an awesome date, like the moment you meet someone that you disagree with, I don't think you're gonna know how to handle it. So I'm a fan of adversity.
Okay. We have a question from the chat. It's one of our most popular questions, so I'll put it this way. On the first date, who pays?
Are you asking me or Keto?
Keto, you can go first.
Okay, for sure. So I think this goes back to kind of the question of putting all your eggs in one basket. You don't want to do that. I agree with you when it comes to not going to a dinner date. I'd rather opt for something that's simple and free where I can get to know them somewhere open, somewhere comfortable. We have Balboa Park where I am. A park can sound probably sketchy in certain parts of the nation, but it's like this place filled with like museums, and it's very open, it's very comfortable, it's very nice. So, I'll often opt for something like that, something where there are really no expectations at all for anything. You can leave when you want to, I can leave when I want to. Just simplify it, keep it super simple. And in my mind, I think if the person is not going to be an investment in my future, why would I throw money? And this sounds kind of mean, but why would I throw money at something or someone that is going to fail me? There has to be some reason, some deeper feeling that's going to push on past that moment for why I paid for someone else's dinner, if that's going to be the expectation. So I would say split the check, make it mutual, or just don't go to dinner at all.
Okay. How often in your experience do you split the check? Out of 10?
Out of 10, how often in my experience? Probably fairly most of the time I've split the check, like 70-ish%. I've split the check. There have been times where I just like my date has wanted to go and get maybe like a boba or something, and I just won't pay for it,
Okay.
At all. And I'll just be like, if you want boba, like go for it. I'll stand outside or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hannah?
I think it depends on the situation. Like if I see a guy that I want to get to know, like I'm gonna be like, I want to take you out to dinner. It usually like throws men off that women don't come at them that way. Yeah. Otherwise, I like splitting it. I'm very I always say I'm not a feminist, I'm a humanist. Like I like 50-50. I like that I'm able to pay for myself. A lot of men fight me on it, and I fight them back. that's just me. I'm an independent, strong woman. But if a guy is like, I want to take you out to dinner and I want to pay for it because they know how I am, I may let them pay for it. But then I'll insist I get the next one if it goes well.
That's a good point.
I love this so much. Y'all have like the best answers. Like, these are great. Not that there's any wrong answer, but these are such good answers. Steelers, welcome back. Steelers, welcome back. Chantal, welcome back. Chantal says, whoever makes the plan. Right? Now, Chantal, I'm sure you've heard me argue this before. That's not necessarily true. Whoever makes the plan, right? Because in my experience, the guy is usually the inviter and the woman is usually the invitee, right? And in my experience, I'm paying 90% of the time over the other 10. For example, Hannah, right? Your answer is definitely going to be different based on what you just told me about. Who invites who out more, you or the guy?
Most recently, it's been me. Men don't approach me.
Okay.
I'm very intimidating to men, but I did have a guy.
What specifically about you do you feel that's very intimidating, and what specifically do you feel that makes men do not approach you?
I've been told because I'm confident and muscular and I do a man's job.
Really? That's been a reason for men? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hold on. Men. That's the reason? Really? Of all the reasons out there in the world, you're too muscular, you do a man. That's
well, because there's guys that like see me like working out, and I'm not the daintiest when I work out, so they're intimidated by me.
Can I say something?
Please.
So my girlfriend is actually very tomboyish. I met her. It was just cold. Like, I just walked up to her. I was at a mall, and I was walking out of JCPenney. They have Sephora's in JCPenney. She's working at a Sephora. And she just commanded the energy on the floor with all the customers, with the employees there. And, I mean, she likes working out. She's applying for the police academy right now. You know, she wants to, like, ride a motorcycle. I'm like, well, if you want to kill yourself, do it. But I'm like, I'm the grandma. I'm the grandma internally, you know? So
death is definitely a possibility.
but no, I mean, like, her energy was just so bright, and you know, I'm really attracted to unusual people. Not that should be unusual. You know, it was just, you know, she was that point of like all eyes on her, and I was like, I'll shoot my shot. But I don't know. I think whatever reasons, like you just said, that men are throwing at you, superficial for me at least. But yeah, absolutely.
I'm still in disbelief. I'm like, what? I'm sure we'll get a lot of feedback from this soon.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. I'm gonna ask 2 questions. These are more personalized questions. Okay. So, Hannah, what's been the response to the video where you gave guys your number? You know that video, the one with 300,000 views? I
told men to give me their number.
Yes.
Because they don't.
Yeah.
I've honestly probably gotten 500 numbers. I don't know.
Fuck! That's awesome!
That's really good.
That's a lot of people to text.
That's really good.
Yeah.
My intention wasn't to get numbers through TikTok. It was just a joke. But ideally what I want to happen is like a guy sees me and gives me his number. And it just doesn't happen.
Also,
and then,
when we're watching on TikTok, we don't know what state you're in. So the first thing a guy does, he goes to your profile to see if you put your state in, right? And then if you're not in the proper state or even country, some guys still shoot their shot either way.
Oh yeah, I've gotten numbers from a lot of Australia. A lot of Australians.
Wow.
That is dope. That is dope. Okay, so you got a number. It's like, I'm sure you've talked to a few. 500 people is a lot to talk to. Are you feeling the vibe with anyone right now?
Okay, this is a crazy story.
We're here for it.
I don't even know if I can say it.
Only share what you feel comfortable with.
Okay, well, fuck. This is okay. I haven't talked to a single guy that messaged me his number on Instagram. Like, that's how people sent me their number, was through my Instagram.
Okay.
And so there was one guy that I ended up following that followed me from that video because he had a funny video, and he works in the same industry as me. And so we became friends and we started messaging. And then I find out he lives very close to where I live.
That's awesome.
Back home.
Okay.
And I ended up meeting him.
Ooh. All right. It's spicing up, everybody. It's spicing up. Okay, I'm excited. Go on.
But like my intention with that video was just it was never to meet anyone through TikTok.
Okay.
Never. But that's exactly what happened. But he wasn't someone that gave me his number. It just happened to click that way. And I literally ended up meeting someone because of that video. And so far, he checks all of my boxes, all of my like 150 boxes.
Yeah.
But it's just wild. Like, that just blew my mind that happened. Now, what has really, really cool that has happened with that video is I've met people that have been struggling with mental health issues. I have gone to treatment for PTSD, for attempted suicide, and I have connected with people and got them to sign up for therapy if they needed therapy. Like, I've talked to people about sobriety, and like, that's been the coolest part of this video. And that's my whole thing, is like understanding your capability of having a mindset to get through anything. That's really what my page is about. That video was just a rant and my frustration with small town dating, and I always say I'm a walking contradiction. Like, I like someone that's like a blue collar worker, but has like a white collar financial mentality. Like, I like someone that's country, but that works out. Like, I like this. I'm a type of person that has like these things on the opposite side of the spectrum. And so that's why I think I'm so particular. But yeah, I met a really amazing person through TikTok.
Now, that is freaking awesome. But can I be fair? On my perspective, I've seen the video. It does seem like you're actually asking, though. Even though you say that's not what it was intended for.
In person, though.
Okay. But again, it's TikTok. That's what I'm saying. Whether they're in your state, I think that's the first question most people would ask, right? Because it doesn't make sense to waste their time if you're not in the same country or even the same state.
Right. But I did make a follow-up video. Okay. Because everyone asked me how many numbers I got and if this was like a real thing. And I was like, ideally what I want to happen is I roll up on my Harley and my future husband's there and he sees me and he gives me his number.
Ideally.
Like,
okay.
That's what I wanted to happen from that video.
Yes.
It kind of happened a different way, but my intention was not to meet someone through TikTok. But I don't care how it was perceived because it's brought so much good, you know.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Wow. Okay. Keto, so you were talking to me in the email about Matt Artisan, right?
Yes, sir, Matt Artisan.
What's the best advice you've gotten from him when it comes to understanding women?
When it comes, so that's kind of hard, because what all the advice sums up to is that you're just interacting with another human being. I mean, that's what you should be looking at people as first, regardless of whether or not you're straight, gay, or whatever you are. You should just see them as a person. We're all sexual creatures. We all have sexual intentions, but to make that your priority is not going to get you the results that you want. I think I watched a video of yours recently where you told someone to masturbate before going on a date.
Yeah. What is it called? Post-nut syndrome? No, post-nut clarity. You think a lot better.
Yeah, post-nut clarity. So it's really important to have that clarity with you when you're approaching people. Approach people with good intentions.
Yeah.
You can approach people with the intention of wanting to date, of wanting to have sex, but don't make that the most crucial thing for you in your interaction. Don't predicate your interaction on that. So I think that's probably the number one thing that I got from Matt Artisan and learning how to just navigate dating. It's just talking to people. That's that simple.
Okay. How do you feel about that, Hannah?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, going into a date just to hook up is not my thing. Like, I'm not into the. I apparently I'm demisexual. Have you heard that term?
No.
Yes.
What does that mean?
You want to elaborate on it, Keto?
Sure, if you want. So my understanding of demisexual is that when you find a partner who you really, really like, and you end up loving that partner, that's the only partner you see as like your sexual connection, as your emotional connection of just being with that person. I don't know if I hit that correctly.
So I want to make sure we're on the same page. My understanding of it, and I could totally be wrong, I'm wrong all the time, was you can't have a sexual connection with someone unless you have like a mental and emotional connection with them.
Oh, okay. That would probably make more sense.
So like if I see a man shirtless and, you know, to the whatever society he's attractive, I won't be sexually attracted to him unless I am mentally and emotionally attracted to him.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Keita, I feel like that's what you were saying before. Like, it's hard for you to like be sexually involved with someone unless you're like emotionally involved and like attracted to them mentally as well.
Yeah, I mean, not to necessarily speak for Hannah, but at least I think this is kind of on the same page that we're on here, is that you really need a deeper reason to be, at least for both of us, to find that connection, that attraction. Because otherwise, it's really just a shirtless man, or it's really just a shirtless woman. It's like, okay, great, you know, we're all naked.
You see that all the time, especially with social media. So
yeah,
I get you. Ben also says one of the reasons for post-nut clarity is so you can last longer. So
I don't disagree with that one.
Ben, wait.
I'm all for it, gentlemen.
Okay. Oh. All right. This is a question that actually triggers me. Okay. You know, remember that scene with Peter in Family Guy? What grinds my gear is this. You get two responses when it comes from women. You get complained if you take too long to come, and you get complained if you come too quickly. Which is it? Like, which is it? I've literally had my girlfriend look at me like, it's been 10 minutes, what's going on? Or what, you're not attracted to me, you don't love me anymore, what's going on? And then if I come within 2 minutes, oh, that's it, that was quick. I'm like, which is it? So please clear this up for me.
If I had to pick one, I would pick to last longer, but I understand the frustration if it was too long. And I think that just comes down to communication and to just getting each other off at the right amount of time. Like, just talk about it. Like, if you don't want it to last a half hour, don't have it last a half hour. But if I had to pick one, I would definitely pick last longer. And if you had a problem to where you always came within 2 minutes, I'm gonna send you to your room and you go jerk off and then come back to me, so I don't have to be disappointed.
Okay, does it trigger you, Hannah, if your partner doesn't come?
No, I wouldn't say trigger. I wouldn't say trigger. God, it's been so long since that has happened, though. No, not trigger.
Not at all. Okay, what about you, Keita?
No.
Triggered, no. I think the important thing is that there's always a solution if the other person's willing to cooperate and communicate, just like Hannah said. That's what it comes down to. So I mean, there are times where I don't last a super long time, there are times where I last a super long time.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of respecting your partner, understanding if you're still into it, if you're still not into it. If you're not, that's fine, we'll try again at some other point. Infinite opportunities. Otherwise, find you a partner that you can have good communication with in the bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you guys think is the average time for sex?
That's a good question. I will say maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. Hannah?
What statistically the average time for sex
Yeah.
is? 6?
Really?
It's 7.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I was gonna say 7, but I went with 6.
It's crazy, right? You see, look at our answers. Ketos went high, you went low, and it's like right there. It's so weird. Like as a kid, I don't know, just growing up, especially like when you watch porn and all that stuff, you think it's supposed to be longer. You know, like, at least like 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, right? And as an adult, you're like, just 15 to 30 minutes every single time. It's not realistic. It's not, because sometimes you just want to wham bam and then you're done. Sometimes it's a little bit longer. Sex varies, you know.
Yeah, depends on the occasion.
Yeah. So the average 7. Crazy. All right, guys, we're gonna go into the debate part, right? When I ask you these questions, give me a con and a pro and con, right? Okay. Monogamy versus polygamy. Okay. Tell me which one you choose, and then give me pro versus con. I'll start with you, Keto. Monogamy versus polygamy. Which do you like? Which do you think is more practical?
So I like the word practical there. I think monogamy is more practical.
Okay.
I think it can be harder to communicate with 2 partners. I mean, I haven't been in a polygamous situation, but I think it would be harder to communicate with 2 partners and make sure everyone's on the same page, everyone's feeling heard, everyone's feeling like they're seen and needed. I think the con to monogamy would be that you don't necessarily get the opportunities to explore other people. And that depends on whether or not you feel like you're missing out on something. So I think if you feel like you're missing out on something and you're in a monogamous relationship, then that's something you should definitely talk about with your partner.
Let me ask you, think everyone should have a whole phase where they explore with other people?
You know,
so they don't feel like they're missing out something.
I think it can be important, whatever that would mean to the person. If you don't feel like you need that, then you don't need it. If you do, then do it. Make it happen for yourself. If you can make that happen with your partner and you're in a relationship, then, I mean, that would be great. You know, it all comes down to communication. You know, what's your situation? Can you make it work? Yes or no? Okay. Is it going to create a breaking point? If so, what are you going to do about it?
Okay,
I just think it's literally that simple.
Right now,
yeah.
What's the pro for monogamy?
Pro for monogamy is the simplicity of communication. One connection, way less chances for communication to go wrong.
Okay, and your con?
The con for monogamy, just only having that one person to really get to know if they believe in commitment. And
remember what you told me earlier, putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yep. Okay. Putting all your eggs in one basket. Yeah.
Okay. Hannah?
I choose monogamy. Pro for monogamy is, again, I mean, simplification. I think being in tune with yourself is a job. I think being in tune with another person is another job. To add another person just seems like way too much for me. But the pro of polygamy is like, if you got sister wives, you're only cooking dinner like once a week. Like y'all are splitting the laundry.
You divide up the work.
Yeah. Like you can, if you got kids, like, you know, you can go.
You got a babysitter.
So, there's some polygamists in my area, so I've discussed this before. So yeah, like house chores are easier. That's a pro with polygamy.
Okay. Are we talking about Mormons specifically, where they all live together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm up here like near northern Idaho, so there's a lot of Mormons up here.
Okay.
And then what's the next question?
Oh, sorry. So let me go back before we go to.
Yeah.
You said you chose monogamy. Let's stick to monogamy first. What's your pro and what's your con for monogamy? So pro.
Biggest pro of monogamy is having that special person like that you can always call, and just that special connection. Yeah.
Okay, so having that one special person, great.
Yeah.
Con.
I mean, yeah, I guess it is like temptation, but Yeah, I want to give something different than what keto did, but yeah, but like putting all your eggs in one basket. Like you got gotta have blinders on, you know, and you might feel like you're
Tunnel
missing out.
vision. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So let's talk about polygamy then, right? Keto, go back to you. What's the pro and what's the con?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't even think of the household chores, but now that you brought it up, I might have to.
Right?
I might have to bring up polygamy to my girlfriend.
You have different meals cooked 3 times, 4 times a week. One might really be good at blowjobs, the other one might be really good
Yo,
at.
you know what I just realized? You see how we're talking about how expensive it is for rent? Rent would be so much more cheaper. You split it up
yeah.
between
Oh
like
my
4 or 5
gosh.
people? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yard work gets done, lickety
Yes.
split.
Everybody is assigned a task, okay? Okay. No, sorry. Continue, Keto.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that what attracts people to polygamy generally, and I suppose what would attract me, is that sometimes your partner can't fulfill certain needs because it's just not within their reality to understand certain needs you need fulfilled. And so one partner might be better than another at something and vice versa in a polygamous situation. And that doesn't just have to be blowjobs, but that would be great, or, you know, whatever else it might be.
Yeah.
And the con would definitely be not being able to focus on only one person, like what Hannah said. So I would say it's easier to just focus one-on-one than to split up that attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring something up right now. One of the reasons why I brought up this topic, right? Fatai says, just be Muslim. It's so much more easier. You.
Just be Muslim?
Yes. Because I
Oh, so
believe
I was raised Muslim.
Okay. What's the rule? Isn't it like you can have, 2 or 3 wives?
I believe that does say that in the Quran. I don't know what he's referring to when he says just be Muslim. I think, is he referring to having an arranged marriage?
Yeah. Fatai, do you mind being more specific with the comment when you said just be Muslim? Also, Ben says 7 minutes is way too long when we're talking about how long for sex. He says under 1 minute is for the win. So.
No, that sounds awful. I can do that myself. Fuck.
He's gonna do 7 positions in 1 minute. Okay, let me go back to this. Okay, so one of the reasons why I brought this conversation up, right? It makes me think about nature versus nurture, right? Because I was raised Christian, and I was raised that you're supposed to get married, you're supposed to raise a family, but you're supposed to have this one person, right? And then even when I watch a lot of movies growing up, everybody talks about the one, right? Now, I also look at the facts. Over 50% of marriages fail, right? Dating is a lot harder and more different now than it was back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about traditional dating versus modern day dating, right? And even when it comes to marriage, right? Before, marriage was a financial decision, right? It wasn't about love. It was about, hey, I have land, you have cattle. Can we join together to become bigger, right? That's how it was like back in the day, Old Testament, right? Now, we kind of like put love into it. It's the same thing for arranged marriages. Arranged marriages were just like, hey, on paper, we look good together. We don't know how we are emotionally, or if we even like each other, but on paper, you have this, I have this, let's come together, right? So I'm like, okay, the Bible, again, Old Testament teaches me to be with one person. But also, I look at the Bible in the sense that kings had concubines, right? Kings, or even some of the people in the Bible had second wives, right? So, question is, which is it? Am I to get married with one person for the rest of my life, or am I to date other people, right? And for me, here's how I look at dating. I look at it like shopping, right? Where you're trying out different stuff to see what's the best fit for you, right? Sometimes, have you ever seen something that looks really good on the rack, but it doesn't look good on you? right? Or
Yeah.
you ever tried something on, it's a little bit too tight or it's a little bit too loose. So you're going to change your room, you're trying to figure out, okay, is this it for me? And then when you like it, you buy, right? When you like it, okay, cool. You decide to be exclusive with the person, right? And then you go out in the real world and see how it feels. And even then, if you don't like it, you can always return it. You can return that guy or girl, right? So dating is so weird. So I'm like, when it comes to if everybody's out here cheating, right? And God, the amount of shit that I've heard with guys who cheating. For example, let's go back to that guy, right? Who decided to talk to 6 different people. He had someone at home, but some need was not being fulfilled. So he went elsewhere. And he didn't just
No
go
one could fulfill
one
those
place. He went to 5 different women, right? So, honestly, it doesn't look like monogamy is working for him. Polygamy would more likely work for him. In some sense, you could say he's not living his truth, right? Maybe, again, this is where I say nature versus nurture. Maybe nature says, oh, you're supposed to be monogamous, but the way he grew up, what he really, really wants is polygamy, right? So, what do we do? That's my question. Like, in this situation, like, what do we do? So many people are cheating. So many people are out. Even with dating apps, you have so many options with dating apps.
Yeah.
So many options. It's a lot harder now to focus on one person.
Yeah.
Right? For example, you had 500 numbers, right? I'm sure it's a lot. That can be a little stressful at times because that's a lot of people, but you have options in the sense that if this one doesn't work out, cool, I can move on to the next. Which is a good and bad thing, right? And Keita, let me go to you. When it comes to sales, right? You can't take anything personally, right? It's a numbers game. Exactly, right? Somebody says no, cool, on to the next. That's the great thing about options. But the bad thing about options is that you miss out that personal connection. That's maybe if you invested a little bit more time, something could, like a fruit, something could like bud from that relationship, right? But because we live in a microwave system where we want everything now, we move on to the next, right? So sorry, I'm rambling. Talk to me.
I guess I'll go first. So I think one of your videos that you posted recently was, would you rather be more afraid, or do you feel more afraid of rejection or of, what was the other one?
Regret.
Or regret. So there's this thing in sales where it's like you would rather do something that you're going to have to say sorry for later than not do it at all. So, you know, it's better to just go out and do it, live your authentic self, but don't keep things from people. Everyone's going to have to find what works for them, and there's no right answer, which is, I think, obviously kind of what you're getting at when it comes to monogamy and polygamy. Some people are going to find a way to have their cake and eat it too, and others aren't. Where do you want to feel like you are fulfilled on your journey in dating, in relationships? And really that's going to differ from person to person. So I can't really say I have one answer or another when it comes to cheating, when it comes to polygamy, when it comes to monogamy. You just got to figure that out for yourself.
Okay. Do you think polygamy? God, I gotta be real careful how I phrase this question. Do you think polygamy is the answer to cheating, or open relationship, which I think is sort of the same? I'll go with you, Anna, and I'll come back to you, Keita.
I think it depends on the reason why you're cheating. I think it depends on.
There's usually a lack of something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's definitely just a case by case basis. But I also think that the idea, like growing up, there's going to be like a Prince Charming or whatever, like there's going to be that one person. Like, I think that's very unhealthy. I think that's a very unhealthy concept to chase. Like, there's going to be multiple people that can mesh with your life well. Like, I don't believe that there's just one soulmate, because then what happens if that doesn't work out, or that person does cheat? And then this person's entire world is shattered. I wish there was just more emphasis on developing yourself as a person first and becoming secure with yourself, and then going out and pursuing a healthy relationship.
Personal
I got something to say about that.
Sure.
So I think what it comes down to, on the same page here as you, is what will you allow to break your relationship and why. I really like your healthy approach of taking things on a case-by-case basis with cheating. Obviously there's something lacking. Is it something that can be resolved? Is it something that you allow to be resolved or that you won't allow to be resolved?
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah.
Dating's hard now with I think the dating apps and just like toting around all these people in your back pocket.
Absolutely.
I'm not a fan. Like, I'm old school. Like, I want to fucking ride my tractor and have my
Sorry, I
cows.
didn't hear. How old are you again? Because you said old school a few times, so I just want to know.
I'm 30. I'm 30, but I'm like a
Just so
60-year-old.
I understand, 30 means old school. Okay, cover that.
My mentality when it comes to dating and how I want to live my life
Yes.
is old. Like, I take so much joy in just watching like a sunset.
Oh,
Like, I don't want to go out to the club. Like, I don't care about getting ready and glammed up and like doing these things that a lot of people in their 20s and 30s do.
Yeah.
I appreciate quality time with quality people.
Okay.
And I think it's harder nowadays to find that because everyone is on that social media and they do want that picture and they do want that experience and they do want those follows.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't mean anything to me.
I feel you. Okay, so let me go into the next topic.
Wait, before you go in, I have one more thing. So I just remembered it. Hannah said something about the one, like finding that one person.
Mm-hmm.
And my philosophy that I've taken into my relationships is that the one can change as we grow as people and as we get older. Sometimes you find someone who you vibe with really well, you start to change as a person, you lose a connection, and that's just natural. That's part of our nature, You lose that connection and you might have to move on to somebody else who can grow with you on that next stage of your journey. So the one can change, and I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah. And normalize heartbreak. Like, one of my therapists said, just because a relationship ends doesn't mean it wasn't successful. Like, if you learn something from that relationship, and if you became a better person or you learned how to treat someone better, because relationships are like a mirror, right? They're going to show you what you're lacking in yourself. So I wish that this fear of being alone and breakups like wasn't so traumatizing for people, because definitely it was for me. Like, my first boyfriend, when we broke up, I mean, I thought my world was gonna end, and I've definitely stayed in unhealthy relationships because I thought I couldn't live without them. And again, that goes back to developing yourself first and then bringing someone into the picture.
Wow, y'all are just dropping bombs today, y'all. This is dope. This is hella dope. I love it. I appreciate it, man. That is awesome. One last thing about the polygamy versus monogamy. Keto, I'm sure I asked you this before, but I just want to double check. We talked about the eggs in one basket, right? How does that compare? Eggs in one basket, all your eggs in one basket, because you said you're not technically supposed to do that. That's polygamy, right? Diversifying, right? It's kind of like what millionaires do. They have
Diversify your portfolio.
Yes, exactly. You gotta have more than one source of income, right? So
7 to be precise.
Okay, does that apply to dating? Can you have 7 source of happiness?
1 for each minute.
Oh gosh. That's a hard one. That's a hard one to answer. I mean,
like,
I guess
if somebody breaks your heart, you don't have to work. You don't have to cry. If you lose one job, somebody breaks your heart. Oh, okay, cool. You have 6 others.
I think you're kind of losing a part of yourself there, to be honest with you. I mean, then again, obviously you're limiting how much stress and how much trauma you're going to go through. So, I mean, I guess it depends. It depends on the person. That's really hard. Honestly, I honestly don't have a good answer for that at all. I don't know if I even have an answer for that right now.
Okay, so, because I'm thinking, right, it's like it depends on the person, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that also depends on how you grew up, your nurture, right? For example, when Fatah talked about Muslim, And as you say, if I'm not sure what the rule is, but if you can, be in a relationship with 2 or 3 wives, you kind of become accustomed to that. You kind of learn and grow with that, right? And same thing with the Mormons. If you can have 4 or 5, you kind of learn how to balance, right? So, and again, that's their truth. They're taught polygamy. They're taught to have multiple. And again, that's what I'm asking. Is it religion that teaches us how we should love, how we should date? Or do we just want to do what we want to do? Where's our free thought versus what society has taught us to do?
That's getting really philosophical. That is really.
I think it depends what country you're in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I know a lot of people they're not happy with arranged marriages. I know a lot of people are very happy with it.
I was supposed to have an arranged marriage.
How do you feel about that?
Well, so growing up, I was always told, like, you're going to have an arranged marriage, you're going to marry a Muslim man, you're not going to go to school, you're going to have kids. And being the woman that I am, I was like, no.
You see, there you go. Nature versus nurture.
But if I grew up in Jordan and I wasn't Americanized, like, I think I would have never known anything different. And I would have gone with it. And, arranged marriages are a long-standing tradition that have success rates because you're forced into loving someone. And you just grow to love that person. Not saying all of them work out that way. My parents ended up getting divorced. My dad ended up cheating with a woman half his age. I think it's situational. I think it depends on the person and culture. I mean, culture and location play a big role for sure. But I personally don't want an arranged marriage. Like, that's why I'm still single.
I guess what it comes down to in my mind is, what do you want to make work? I think that nature overrides nurture when you feel like you don't belong in that situation. So whether it's being in a Muslim household or being in a polygamous household, a monogamous household, you're going to have to find a part of yourself you've never discovered before. So that's my answer, I suppose.
Okay. I'm going to ask one triggering question, then we're going to move on, right? And this is for you, Keto, and it's going to go for you too, Hannah, but you'll see why.
Okay.
Keto, you chose monogamy, right?
Yes, sir.
This is just a typical guy question. Would you ever want to have a threesome?
I've had them before.
But a threesome doesn't necessarily scream monogamy. But as a guy,
right? Yeah.
As a guy, we're like, 2 girls, yes, hook me up. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Is there some discrepancy when it comes to, oh, okay, I want to be with this one person for the rest of my life, but I also would like to have a threesome at one point. You know what I'm saying?
I think for sure. Again, it comes down to communication and whether or not you feel like there needs to be a discrepancy. Obviously, that's something you're going to have to work out with your partner. And if that's something that you can't work out and it's something that you feel like you really need, then you need to be your authentic self and break things off with your partner before you cheat. That's at least my perspective on it.
Okay.
So that's it. I mean, I don't think things need to get overcomplicated. I don't think it needs to be a matter of like this versus that, us versus them. It's just, can you make it work with what you've already got, or can you not? And if you need to make it work, figure that out. If it's just an extra perk, then is it really that important? Can you do without it? Yeah.
Okay. Hannah?
I really like the way both of us approach these questions because it's very malleable and like abstract thinking. Like there's no black and white. And I think that's a really healthy way to think. I personally, I think I'm more attracted to women than I am to men.
Okay.
Like with men,
my girlfriend is too.
With men, I have to have the emotional and physical, like emotional and mental connection in order to date them. But with women, like I just think they're hot. And I mean, I've never had sex with a woman, but I've hooked up before and I enjoy it. But at the point in my life I'm at right now, I don't feel that I need that because that's purely just for sexual pleasure. And I just don't need need.
If you feel
excessive
like
sexual
if you can
pleasure.
get past that physical aspect, could you see yourself in a relationship with a woman where it's just like, okay, now we have the emotional bond and all that stuff?
No, I don't think I could ever see myself in a relationship with a woman.
Okay. So what about the threesome part?
Like I'm sexually attracted to women. I think they're beautiful, but I prefer like on a normal everyday basis for like a man to be dominating me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're gonna go into man. We're at the second half. I'm gonna run through this real fast, guys, because I don't want to hold.
I'm good. I'm not in any rush. I don't know what your schedule is, Keto.
No, I'm good. I'm good. You got me.
Perfect. All right. Love this. This conversation is going great, guys. I love the flow. We're feeding off each other. I love this. I love this. All right. So going back to the second one, people that are attracted to each other, can they be friends? Right? And I'm gonna give you two situations. Okay. Situation number one. Both of you guys are in a relationship, right? Both of you guys have a friend who's also in a relationship. You guys are physically attracted to each other. You know how couples tend to hang out with each other? Let's just say in this situation, y'all couple hang out with each other. And you can tell there's chemistry between y'all. Do you think y'all can just stay platonic friends even though you're in a relationship?
Discuss it with the partner. That's the first thing I would do.
You would tell your partner you're attracted to them?
Yeah.
Bro. For
Yeah.
real?
Yeah.
That's like starting a fight, bro. Like, all right, no, talk to me. I'm listening. I'm listening.
No. Like, I am in a pretty healthy relationship. I think it's just common sense that you're going to find yourself attracted, or at least, like, if it's not you, other people are going to find themselves attracted to more than one person. So it's really
natural.
important.
Yes.
Yeah, it's natural. So it's important to just, be able to talk that out and say it, because you don't want to repress it. Like, I also grew up religious. I grew up feeling repressed, and like I had to keep things from getting out. I just had to keep it to myself. And the more you keep things to yourself, you create just bad situations for yourself. That's my perspective. That's my experience. So I would tell my partner. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Hannah?
Yeah. I mean, I think if there was like that urge in me and I was like, I feel things that aren't normally what I'm feeling, I would have that conversation, because eventually it's going to come out. Like, just like you said, it's like when you like go to make a commitment to like a diet, you're like, oh, I'm not going to eat any sugar today. You end up eating sugar, you know? So yeah, I think just being open and honest is the best policy.
Is being physically attracted to another person urge? Because I feel like you can just, oh yeah, that person's cute. Yeah, that person's good looking, but I don't want to do anything with them.
For me, it's not, because I have to have that emotional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Attachment.
For me,
Okay. Yeah. But
so there wouldn't be an urge to sleep with someone that is attractive.
yeah.
Unless they had this like great, amazing personality that went with it, and then I would be like, oh, I have to really evaluate where my thoughts lie. But I feel like when I'm committed to someone and like they're my person, like I'm fully committed.
You got the blinders on, you're locked in.
Yeah, if I find someone that's like my person, like I'm very appreciative that someone would want to spend their time with me, and like they meet my expectations, and so no one else even can faze me.
Okay. Any final thoughts, Kito?
I definitely think that there's a difference between fuckable and attraction, from my perspective. Someone might be great in bed, but are they going to be good to be with? Honestly, I lost sight of the question a little bit.
No,
but,
it's evolved.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's
for sure.
evolved for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's it.
Okay, so we're gonna come down to the confess and drink part. So grab your drink. Put my water away.
What are you drinking?
I got rum.
Oh boy.
Security.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Rum.
Exactly. What you got, Keto?
I've got a little bit of Buffalo Trace, one of my favorite liquors.
Okay.
Very cheap, very high quality taste. So
All right.
I recommend
Yes.
it.
And
When
you
I did
have-
drink bourbon, I was a fan.
What do you have?
Yeah.
Have?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just have some bubbly water.
Okay.
I'm a bubbles lady.
Awesome, awesome. By the way, if you have any, this is pretty much the ugly truth triggering questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask as well. Right? I have a few written down, but this is just to like keep things flowing. Right? Okay. Hannah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, do we understand the rules of confess or drink? I don't need to explain it, right?
They're self-explanatory, right?
Yeah.
You either say it or you drink.
Is.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. All right. Awesome.
We're good.
This is something I think that people don't talk about a lot, but it's such a thing.
Okay.
Have you ever had period sex?
100%.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Okay. Both of you guys answered. That was perfect.
Just put a towel down.
Huh? Let's put a towel
Just
down.
put a towel down. Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing, Keto?
Absolutely. Put something down so it doesn't stain. That's
There you
simple.
go. Keto, have you ever faked an orgasm?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hannah?
Oh, probably like once. Yeah.
Okay. I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just
You
wanted
fake the jizz too? Like, do you like throw some icing down from some toaster strudels? Like, hold on, babe, let me go to the freezer real quick.
I was tired. I was not going to come at all, and she was really insistent on me coming, so I just made a fake nose. Like,
Did you spit on her? Did you say you swallowed it? What'd you do with it?
I said it's in the condom still.
Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot about that type of sex.
So yeah, men do fake it too.
For sure.
What was your reason to fake it, Hannah?
I just wanted, it was just bad and wanted to get it over with. And I don't think I've ever been the person to be like, I'm not enjoying this.
Okay.
I think
Say it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I feel like, I mean, it's been a long time, but I feel like I'm better at that now. It's something I've wanted to work on, is like being honest with someone and upfront, even when it's like really hard. But yeah, I think I just feel bad for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the worst reason you ever dumped someone? Keto.
The worst reason I've ever dumped someone, cheating. Yeah.
That's
not really
reason.
a bad.
The worst.
It's a valid reason,
petty.
but
Come on, Keto.
sorry, I
That's
don't have
bad
a petty reason. I don't have a petty reason. I just that, honestly. Yeah.
None.
No, I've never dumped anyone for a
Such
petty
a good
reason.
guy. I love you, bro.
Thanks.
Hannah.
Oh, goodness. I feel like I've been on a lot of not great dates. What was the one I had? Probably like this dude was just like super into like Trulies, and I felt like just like didn't wash his clothes. Those are pretty, I feel like, pretty superficial things, but
So cleanliness and too much into Trulies.
true, like the seltzers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a very like weird bro-ish kind of dude.
Hmm.
I'm trying to understand. Hold on. We're at the bar. We're having a drink. Hey, can I get an order, Truly? You know what? Make it 3 for me. What do you want? A vodka tonic? 3 Truly, 1 vodka tonic.
Yeah,
Pick
I'm
me
just
the
not
picture.
into it. Not into it. Yeah, not my type.
Was that like, now to be fair, was that like his whole personality?
I felt like it was.
Hmm. Okay.
It was a first date, and we were like gonna go boating, and he brought like Trulies, and then just like, I don't know, he was just a weird dude. I just got a weird vibe.
Okay.
Hmm.
So it's a vibe then. It's a chemistry that you weren't.
Yeah, but like the Trulies thing really turned me off. Like
Huh. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you hear that, chat? Stay away from Trulies from now on. This is not a paid advertisement whatsoever, just so you know. Okay. Before I go to the other questions, do you guys have any questions? Truth or drink? Come on, we gotta try to get each other to drink.
No, not off the top of my head.
Oh, you want me to ask like the
Yeah,
question?
the uncomfortable questions.
Have you, Keto, have you ever purposefully drank your own jizz?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
How
absolutely.
it taste?
I need to hear the story. Talk to me.
You haven't tried it either?
No.
Oh. All right. I mean, like, I haven't swallowed it, but like, I've definitely put it on my tongue, you know. And it's like, well, naturally, I feel like if you want to know what something's like, you're gonna, you know, try it out.
Yes.
People. I'm sure I'm not the only one. People out there want to know what candles taste like. Candles just smell so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's just a curiosity thing, you know. It doesn't, you know, that's it. Yeah.
Have you ever done it? Like
It's
a dude
very
has
good
like
question, by the way.
I'm gonna do this question, trust me. As a dude jizzed on me and then like slurped it off of me. Like, have you ever done that?
I bet you weren't expecting that.
No, I would not expect that. Well, wait. That happened before?
Yeah.
What was your reaction?
I was like, how do you taste? Now you know what I experienced. Make sure you eat your pineapple.
Oh, that's good.
Wait, I heard this thing that based on what you eat or drink throughout the day, your vagina tastes just like that. Like somebody was
My
like,
vagina tastes like Skittles because I eat really well. I eat pineapple.
That's interesting. My girlfriend
I-
says I taste like Skittles.
Skittles?
Yeah.
Really?
Not super sweet Skittles, just like a subtle Skittle hint. But it's just clean and just like a little subtle Skittle. But I eat super healthy. Like I don't eat processed stuff. Like I eat vegetables and pineapple.
I
Nice.
forgot that's not water. I like
Ooh.
checked it and yeah. Wow, this is good. Yeah, I made me forgot about the game. I just started drinking. No, that's good. That is really, really good. Okay. What would you say is your biggest red flag, Hannah?
My personally, my
Yes.
biggest red flag?
Like, if all your friends come together in a room and they're gonna talk about you, they're like, "Yo, I want you to date Hannah, but you need to know this."
I have ridiculous standards. Like
You've said that before. You gotta skip that. Give me something else.
I appreciate my space, like mentally and physically. Like if someone wants to be real touchy-feely and I want my space, I'm gonna be like, can you please not touch me?
Okay.
And people don't enjoy that.
Ooh. Let me ask a follow-up question. What's your love
Yeah.
language? As in, how do you like to receive it? Top two.
It's acts of service. These are the love language: physical touch, acts of service, words of affirmation. What's the other one?
Gifts.
Gifts. So mine's definitely not gifts. It's probably acts of service and then physical touch. I love physical touch, but only on my terms.
Which
But
are,
acts of when I'm in the mood to be touched.
How do we know you're in the mood to be touched? Is there like a sign that says "touch me now"? Like,
No, I will say it or I'll be that way. But like sometimes if we're at dinner and I'm like, I think it's agoraphobia or maybe I don't know. It's just like I don't like being crowded, and so when I get like,
Okay.
yeah, and people like get really turned off by that. I'm like, I just need my space. Like just give me.
No,
my
this is
physical
good.
space.
This is good to ask because
Yeah.
here's what I mean. And the fact that you brought up dinner is perfect. Me, when I go out to eat, I like to sit next to my partner, right? I don't want to. I don't like the cross thing. You feel like you're too far away from me, right? I like to, you know, I like to be a little bit closer. If it's a booth where it's still a little bit more spacious, but if it's a small chair, I don't want to be that close to you. But a booth
Yeah.
is good, you know. So that's
See,
just me.
I like the sexual tension from across the table. Like you create the sexual
Really?
tension,
That is
and then you can
interesting,
only
yeah.
touch their hand, but then like you're turning them on by just your hand and your eyes.
I've actually heard this before from a few different people. One of them is also my girlfriend as well. The thing is that like psychologically on a primitive level, when you're across from somebody, I don't know about dating because this is changing my whole world now. But when you're across from somebody, typically that's kind of like a sign of almost aggression of like being face to face with another person, like it's an opponent, which is why it feels so much more natural to sit next to somebody because it's literally being on the same side as someone. you're in the same social circle, you're in the same group. Yeah, absolutely. So this is totally rocking my world. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this more.
I like the eye contact. Like I like staring into people's souls.
Oh,
That's fair. Yeah.
I like this combo. Okay, so, God. All right, back in the day when I was a hoe, right? I used to go to the same spot and for all my dates, right? And there was this one booth. I did one or two things, and the bartenders know this very, very well, right? If I take a booth table, I'm on a date. If I go to the bar and I sit by the bar, I'm by myself, right? And they know it for a fact. They're like, oh, you're sitting over there? Great. Craig is on the date tonight, right? But then I started transitioning to like, I prefer sitting at the bar next to the person because it already breaks that personal space between y'all. Because the bar chairs are like this close. Kazutsu, welcome to the team. And thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate it. So, with the being across from each other, there's physical barrier, right? And when I want to move in for the kiss, I usually like go to the bathroom. And while I'm coming back from the bathroom, I'm like, hey, do you mind if I sit next to you? And they're like, yeah, sure. Right? Boom, I just broke the physical space. But if I'm already sitting next to you at the bar, we're kind of like touching knee to knee already. You know, we're already physically close, so I don't need to ask that. What do you guys feel?
I like the growing together. So like if I am sitting next to someone at the bar,
apart and then
yeah, I kind of start off, and then depending how the conversation's going and how I'm feeling, I'll slowly get closer, and then like our feet will touch, then I'll touch his leg, and I like building that anticipation. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, Keto.
That's how vaginas work. Okay.
Yes. Yes. For those of you who do not know, guys, there's a build-up when it comes to making a vagina work. Okay, foreplay. We'll talk about that another day. But...
mentally, though, and physically.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Physical touch is touchy and can get touchy. I mean, there are ways I test the waters where it's, it's like if I say something that's like joking, maybe I'll tap them on the shoulder, see how they react, just kind of get them comfortable. I know with my current girlfriend, I tapped her on the shoulder, I put my hand on her and took it away. I didn't leave it on there, but she was visibly uncomfortable. But the thing is that, it's like you want to respect the other person's space, but you also don't want to make it about being subservient. So it's just continuing to be yourself, noticing social cues. When I like to go in for the kiss, at least what I like to do is play.
What's your move? What's your move, my brother? Let's go.
Have you ever played the 3-2-1 game?
Ooh, what's the
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. What is that?
So no, probably not.
I'm gonna count down from 3, and after I get to 1, you either have to slap me or kiss me.
No.
3, 2, 1.
You brilliant bastard! Yo, that was good. That is good.
I've never heard that before. I like that.
Would that work on you, Hannah?
Potentially, yeah. Yeah.
What's your success ratio, Kita, out of 100?
Out of 100,
yeah.
It's usually like 90%.
My nigga, come on. Let's go. Let's go. That is beautiful.
Where'd you hear that from again?
Matt Artisan, actually. Yeah. It's that guy I brought up earlier where I learned.
Okay.
Just
3, 2, 1. I like that. I like that. Okay.
When you got slapped, did you get slapped hard?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure it's like a playful slap too. They're like,
yeah.
Oh my god, no, don't do it. There's too many people.
But if like the dude was a dick and he did that, it might end bad for him.
I think that's what he says though. You gotta read the body language, right?
Yeah, for sure.
90% of communication is nonverbal. So if you're feeling it, you can tell like they're 100%. More receptive towards it. Then go for
Absolutely. If the other person across from me is noticeably homicidal, then I'm not going to ask that question.
Okay, that should be like a preface for anyone trying to use that.
Okay, I'm sure we all have our own lives when it comes to kissing. What's yours, Hannah?
Lies? What?
Lines.
Oh, like if I want to kiss someone?
Yes.
What line would I say?
Yeah, like we talked about the build-up. They're trashing, they're sitting across from you, you're touching their hand, your eye contact. What's your line to close the deal?
I've never had to say anything.
You just go straight in?
you probably can't, I don't know if you can tell, but I have big ass eyeballs. Like they're huge.
I can't
So
tell. Go on.
they're really big. So I don't know, I just look at people and I don't know, I may have asked if I could kiss someone before, but usually it just happens because I'm just looking at them intently.
You're looking at their lips or just looking at their eyes?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, I love eye contact. I love staring into people's eyes.
Okay. I feel you.
I like making people feel seen.
Ah. It's a part of making them feel special.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I'm making you feel seen, you'll know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel you. Keto, I'm gonna add to that. I do have a cheesy line. It works 92% of the time, right? It's pretty much like this. So after the whole build up, you can tell that maybe you're at a point to kiss. I say this, hey, it's a three-part question, but the first one is asked mid-date. I usually ask, hey, how do you feel about PDA, right? Whether they like it or not, that tells me a lot right there, right? Like, would they be receptive for me to kiss them in public right now, at the bar, wherever we are, right? So it tells me if they're usually okay with it, it's fine. Then I'll go in. Hey, real quick, and now this is where I start moving in a little bit closer to you. I'm already sitting beside you, right? And I said, hey, are you physically attracted to me? Right? Now, here's the thing. I don't ask this question for me. I ask it for her to confirm with herself, right? And then
That's cool.
She usually giggles or laughs. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. This is usually the response. I'm like, cool. What's the worst thing you could do to me right now if I kiss you? And then I slowly move closer towards them. Like, you got to give that pause to see if they're going to pull away or not. And while they're thinking about it, go in for the kiss. It works 92% of the time, man. I'm telling you. The other times when it doesn't work, those girls end up being my girlfriend because they laugh at me so freaking hard. They're like, no way. Is that your line? Oh, you're cheesy. Oh, you're so bad. And then I end up in a whole year relationship with them.
I appreciate the fact that you like make sure that they're comfortable because I've definitely had a dude kiss me on the first date, and because of that dude, I made it a rule like I'm not kissing anyone on the first date. And it's like such an uncomfortable feeling when someone kisses you and you don't want them to. So I appreciate that.
Oh, so that brings up a good point. Is that there's a difference between asking for permission and asking for consent. Consent is mutual. Permission is not. So one of the things is that it's not very sexy to ask for someone's permission.
Sure.
It's kind of a boner killer, like it, So the way that I think at least our approaches our work is that it is consent based. It's like you have the option to back out. I'm not going to force you into this. You either kiss me or slap me. Or with him, it's like, are you physically attracted to me? Making sure. And you're not saying, can I kiss you? Can I kiss you?
Make it short and then I say like, what's the worst? The worst, you start thinking about whatever, you see how they respond, or they're pulling away. So I think in both of our situations, we did ask consent, right? Where it's just like, you said 3, 2, 1, and then you wait. You don't just like go straight in,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Nah,
I think it's important.
That's awesome. Okay. Would you date? This is for you, Hannah. Would you date someone who makes less than you?
100%. Yes.
Okay.
As long as they are financially either living within or below their means. I don't have a preference on what someone makes.
Okay. Keto?
Same thing here. Are you sustaining yourself? That's all that matters to me.
Okay. Yeah. Last question. Are you Dobb or submissive? Keto?
Both. It depends on the situation.
So
sometimes I want her to take control. Other times I just want to be the one who's on top dominating. Yeah.
Okay. Depend on the mood, situations, all that stuff. Okay.
Absolutely.
Hannah?
I 100% prefer to be submissive. I can be dominant. It's not horrible, but I love a dude to put his hands on my neck. Fucking drives me crazy. I love it so much.
That's fine. I've heard a lot of girls when they say submissive, they think of being a starfish.
What?
You know starfish? They just lay there. They're just.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, no.
All right.
So, what is
No.
being submissive means to you? Because it varies with people.
Oh, like you're
what
gonna
is-
tell me when to come. Like
Okay.
you're gonna put your hands on me and you're gonna put me in positions and like stick your fingers down my throat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to be punched, but like firm but loving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Firm but
But I'm very active. Like there's no lying around anywhere. Unless I'm waiting for the towel.
Man, you'll be surprised. That is such a huge turnoff. I'm like,
I don't know what you women are doing, but I'm making this a workout and we're gonna have fun doing it.
all right, I'm gonna say something that might sound offensive a little bit.
You mind if I leave real quick? Just go to the
You're
bathroom.
good, you're good. But don't
Alright.
turn off the camera because it's gonna switch
All
up the
right.
whole thing. You can just mute.
All right, for sure.
Yeah. Let me say something. Again, this is not for all. This is just from my personal experience, right? The hotter the girl, the less work they do, right? And again, in my perspective, here's what I mean.
That's sad.
Well,
but okay, but that goes back to like society being like, oh, I'm a pretty girl, I don't have to work as hard because of how people treat them. And that's just fucking stupid in my opinion. Like, and that's again, I think why I'm intimidating is because I will outwork every motherfucker on a construction site,
Yeah.
but I also am relatively attractive.
Okay.
So I don't know why women would just lie there. Sorry, there's just
No,
rant.
that's okay. That's okay.
Apologize. frustrating
Narset,
to
welcome
me.
to the team, Narset. Welcome to the team. Glad to have you. But does that make sense when it comes to dudes as well? Like the hotter the dude, the less effort he thinks he has to put in when it comes to sex or even.
I think that's an ego narcissist that I would want to stay far away from. That's a narcissism trait for sure. Like, oh, I'm good looking, so you can just, have fun with me. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have to do anything. Not into it. I like effort. I like work ethic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, I've had a friend, she said this. She said, yo, I dated, you know how most girls want, like, a guy that's 6 feet tall, all this stuff. She said, hey, I finally got what I wanted. I got the 6 feet tall guy. He looks like a model. He was so beautiful. It was, right? And then when it came time for us to hook up, he just laid there, right? He wanted me to do all the work. He wanted me to go down on him. He wanted me to go on top. He just laid there. And she was so disappointed. She's like,
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. The hotter the person, the less work they tend to do, right?
That's unfortunate.
Keto, in your experience, do you ever feel like that could be true, or that has been true?
Yeah, I think just typically hot people are able to get away with a lot more things, do a lot less work. I do most of the work. I'm usually the one on top.
Does that mean that we're ugly? The more work we do, the more ugly we are. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. Oh Lord.
But I like a break every once in a while. I'll push for my break. I'll lay
Yeah.
there, like, go at it.
Okay. What's your favorite sexual position? I'll start with you, Hannah. By the way, why are none of us drinking? Like, these are supposed to be the
I've been
hard-
drinking.
Oh,
Yeah, like...
we're open books. We're yeah.
I
My
find harder
favorite
questions.
Anything with their hands on my neck,
Okay.
whether I'm sitting on them or if it's from behind, like reverse cowgirl, but he's standing up on the side of the bed, choking me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything with my neck.
Keto?
Yeah.
That is a great question. I like it when they're like on their side, leg up, and I can push really deep in.
I know that one.
I don't know how to describe that. I don't know what position
Scissors.
that
It's
is.
kind of like a scissors, but it's like
Oh
a...
yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
That's like a second, third, top three for me for sure.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless your dick's too big, then it just fucking hurts.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, I don't know how to call it. I call it the butterfly or something like that. Okay, your face to face. The person's wrapped around you. Like
Right.
Their legs is wrapped around you, and
Yeah.
you're hanging off the bed. So, the bed or the couch, you're sitting at the edge. They're there,
Yeah.
and basically, you do everything with your hands, right? You can kiss them. You can rub their back, scratch their back. You can take their ass. You can pull it in closer, further away from you. You can take their legs because it's wrapped around, and then pull it further or away from you and pull it closer. It's fantastic for like the closeness, for penetration. And
Yeah.
boobs. Fucking love boobs. So it's all in front of you. Everything good is in front of you, and then your hands has the ass. So it's like you get everything. I don't know what to call it. I think it's called. I see. I'll check one of those websites.
I have a question for you. Are
Yeah.
you a boobs man, ass man, or face man?
Thank you, man. These are the questions I like. Rachel, welcome back. Rachel, welcome back. I'm totally a boobs guy, 100%. Like
You're totally a boobs guy?
yes, I feel like there's so much more you can do with boobs, and honestly, you want to cheer me up, just send me a titty picture. That will make my day like, tremendously.
Yeah.
It's the first thing I see. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at you, unless I'm walking behind you, but it's usually the first thing I see. So
That's why you saw my video. The only time
Not in denial.
Like I actually
God.
put a bra on, so my
Busted.
looked huge.
Absolutely busted.
Like I got decent sized tits, but they looked huge in that video. And like I don't know, my arms did too. I don't know this camera setup, but that's why that video got over 300,000 views.
I'm gonna have a drink for that.
Oh, man.
They were expensive, so I'm glad they're being appreciated.
Oh.
Expensive? You got a boob job?
Yeah, they're pretty natural looking.
They look great. Good job.
Thank you.
Give
They were
your
7,500.
surgeon a high five, like, yo, 300,000 people saw these boobs. They are pretty.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh man. So, yeah. What about you, Kita?
Honestly, I am more interested in like proportions. So like if someone has a, like butt and boobs that are proportional to their body, that's it for me. I don't know how to describe it.
Proportions.
Yeah.
Do you mean like kind of like the Coca-Cola bottle shape, where they go like that?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't just
As a
like-
good boob to ass ratio,
Yeah.
like
'Cause,
what
like,
do you
I
mean
don't
by
want, like-
proportions?
I don't want like some triple G's on like like a stick figure, you know.
That sounds
That's why I got a
Triple
boob job
Gs.
actually, was to
Oh,
even
really?
myself out. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
got like a big ass. I've always worked out,
Yeah.
and then I got rid of my boobs from weightlifting unintentionally. So
yeah.
I have
It
a
was
modest. I went bigger.
No, was it bigger before?
My boobs?
Yeah.
No, I was like a B and now I'm a D.
Okay,
so
okay.
now I'm like proportional to my ass.
Okay.
But I will come to lesbian porn with tits in like 3 seconds. I love tits.
Oh, so your tits. There you go.
I'm a tits.
I didn't know how to ask you. I don't know if to ask if you're a boob or ass person. I don't know.
You could ask me. I mean, I don't. I would prefer not to be with someone that had a flat ass. Like if I was hooking up with a chick.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one, I want to play with big tits rather than.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's just something comforting, and you can just.
They're
fall
they're
asleep.
just like squishy and yeah. Sorry.
Does booty
apologize.
does booty on guys matter? That's my
Ooh,
question. Like, do
good
they need like
question.
that nice? They need that like nice red baboon ass, or like what do they need? You know what?
I
What do
mean,
they have to have?
For me, it's a proportion thing. Like too big or
Yeah.
too small isn't awesome, but like I'd prefer just to be proportionate. Like bigger isn't better, when it comes to men for me.
Okay, so you know what I'm gonna ask, right? Since we're on this topic.
Big size.
All right. Yeah.
6 inches at least is ideal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you know the average. No,
4.6, 5.4, something like that.
you were close. It's 5.5.
5, yeah.
5.5
Yes.
is the average. And you know what's crazy? When they do
Yo.
the science and the math, women's vagina tends to be
Right.
around 3 to 5 inches.
The
right?
depth, yeah.
Yes, it can extend. Yes, it can stretch
Right.
the birth canal, all that stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's 3 to 5, right? And then you grow up hearing, oh, I want a man with an 8-inch dick, a 10-inch, 12-inch dick. Yeah, give me Mandingo.
It hurts. It hurts so bad. And then if they're not like nice about it, it just fucking hurts. But honestly, I'm like always terrified of meeting someone and falling in love with them, and then they have a 2-inch penis. I hate to say it, but it's a fear of mine.
It's fine.
But I just like, I hope that they're like into using something to extend their dick size.
This is why sexual compatibility matters. Like
it does. But it would like break my heart if like they were like the perfect person, and then because I'm like I want to have sex 3 times a day every day. Like,
okay, so just to go with what you just said, right? I've always said this. I think let me say this properly. You should get the sex out of the way as soon as possible, right? Because in the sense what you just said, that you spend time with somebody, you get to know them, they're amazing, they're the person, you're the partner, and then when it comes to time to have sex, you're not compatible, and that breaks your heart, right? And also, I've always stated this: you want to know when a guy really, really likes you? See how he responds after sex. Does he still chase you? Does he still want you as much as he did before? Because that's why I talk about post-nut clarity.
Right.
Get it out of your system. That's how you really, really know, because we really mean what we say before sex. Yeah. And during sex, God, do not. Yo, I say anything during sex. I'm like, oh, I love you. That's me. I don't mean it like that, but in sex, you're feeling so good. Oh my God, I say so much shit. So, you guys take over.
Go
ahead, Keto.
Topic?
Sex and dick size.
All right. Let me go back. Sex. When you just started dating somebody, I think you should get sex out of the way immediately. Right?
Agreed.
Like how soon though?
Me personally,
like I can't have sex with people unless I have that connection.
That's fine. Connection is everything. Me personally, I feel like if you're having a great connection on a first date with somebody, fuck it, go for it. If connection, if your attraction is all there, people stop themselves because I don't want to seem like a hoe or a slut to sleep with somebody on the first date. Shit, my relationship 6 years later. First date. Not even first date. It wasn't a date. First night that I met her. Yeah. Right? You don't see me crying or bitching. I don't hear her complaining about it. So the sex was good, and then we built on that. Whether it was good or not, sex is good, and we built on that. So what do you guys think? Sex on the first date. Sex on first connection.
I think it depends. Personally, I'm not into it. I've definitely done it before, but I end up regretting it, and I don't like that feeling.
So out of 10, let's just say you have sex on the first date 10 times, you tend to regret it more?
Oh yeah, I think I've regretted it every single time. I think
it's because of how it ended.
I just don't feel because I don't have that emotional connection yet.
Okay, so it takes a while for you to get emotional connection.
Yeah, or like you thought that you had this great connection with someone, and then you find out they're a raging narcissist. And then I'm like, oh fuck, I wasted sex on this person. So I didn't used to always think that way, but as I've gotten older, I've just developed a more conservative way of dating. Like, I don't just want to fuck people to fuck people.
Okay. Keto?
I think it depends. If it feels right and both of you want it, go for it. I mean, I've definitely been in that position before. Typically, I will wait until at least the second date because I want to make sure that I felt like everything felt good about the first date and that I have some time to really mull over who that person is and what they want. So even if it's not really going to go anywhere, it's just making sure first, sitting with yourself, asking yourself, am I comfortable with this? Yes or no, instead of just like letting it carry over and then possibly regretting it. Like if you feel like that gut instinct of like, maybe I don't want to do this, then like back the fuck out that second, take some time to think about it. If you're like, bro, let's just have a good time, do it on the first date. Simple as that for me.
Okay. Okay, yo, Ben, we're coming up to your favorite part right now, Ben. All right, guys. This part is the last part. It's called practice. I'll get a better name. Just give me time. I'll come up with a better name. But this is pretty much where you guys get to go on a virtual date with one of us, okay, or two of us if you're that type of person. If you want to go on a virtual date with one of us, please type in the chat. Let me know. If not, we'll do a practice date amongst us, and just to show you what it's like. Okay. So let me know in the chat. Man, these are some good questions, guys. We need to go back to one thing before we jump into this. Tell us more about the ex-boyfriend, the Jamaican Chinese one.
Oh. Well, he was like.
Tell Keto how he looked and everything. I'm not sure if he was here for that one.
I don't think you were. So this was like my first love, the guy I lost my virginity to. He looked like Tyson Beckford. I don't know if you know that model. He's Jamaican, like dark skin, but Chinese, clearly in the eyes. And he had a father or his mother was from Jamaica. She lived here. And then his dad still lived in Jamaica, and he was Chinese. And he had like 13 girlfriends and like a massive coke addiction. So he was just like a Chinese player in Jamaica. And then and then we ended up breaking up, and it was like the saddest thing ever. He ended up like getting caught with drugs and got sent to Jamaica. And I believe he's now a rapper. Jamaican rapper, but I haven't talked to him in probably
that kind of
15 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a long time. But that was my first love.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good story. I like that.
Okay. Well, we're not getting a response from the chat as yet, so we'll wait for them. So here's what we'll do. Hannah and Keto, you guys are gonna go on a date. First date, okay? We're gonna keep it simple. Drinks, right? We're gonna start from the moment you walk in. I'll be the narrator, right?
Okay.
We'll start from the moment you walk in. We'll give the date 5 to 10 minutes. In a way, you kind of have to speed it up. So ask the questions, get to the point, and the goal is, number 1, to have fun. Number 2, to win a second date. Always be closing. You know what I'm talking about, Keto.
Close the sale.
Right? So, I'll start, right? Now, the settings, a regular bar. Let's just say, Keto, you arrived first. And you texted Hannah. She says she's 1 minute out. Okay? Keto, quick question. Would you get yourself a drink first, or would you wait for her?
Ooh, I'd probably get myself a drink first. Yeah.
Okay. Hannah, how would you feel if you walk in and you saw him already having a drink?
I mean, that probably would be my approach, but I wouldn't be offended by that. If that's what made him comfortable, I'd be okay.
Okay. All right. So, in walks Hannah, right? Keto, you're waiting by the bar. You stand up. What do you do?
I'm waiting by the bar.
Yes, and you see her walking, coming through the door.
And stand up, get up, go straight to her.
Okay, how do you greet her?
Hey, it's me. That's it. Super simple.
Hannah, how do you greet her?
I would go in for a hug to see if that would be appropriate. Say, nice to meet you. I'm Hannah.
Okay. How do you feel about a hug, Keto?
I'm fine with it. After the hug, this feels like I'm playing D&D. After
I know. I'm sorry. It's a virtual hug. It's a virtual date. We can't really see it, you know?
No, yeah, like the hug's cool. After the hug, I'd be like, okay, cool. I'm sitting over here. Are you cool with that? And I'd get next to her, lightly press my hand against her back, and then, see if she moves forward with me. And that's it. Wouldn't keep it there, I'm not like, you're not a doll. But,
This is
I'd like,
good. This is why we're doing this.
I'd guide you. I'd guide you.
I appreciate the escort. I do.
Yeah.
Like, as independent as I am, I still like to be courted.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
And I feel like there's like such a lot, like a disconnect. Sorry, I
Yes.
don't know if this is part of the date anymore, but
No, no. We're breaking it down and we're analyzing. Like
yeah,
first
the
of all,
hyper feminism
Yes.
is really annoying to me. Like, I think courting and being a gentleman and holding a door for a woman I appreciate it very much.
Okay, no, this is good.
Absolutely.
So, first off, right off the bat, Hannah initiated physical contact, right? The physical touch. She went for the hug, right? So, in some sense, I'm guessing you're gonna feel, oh, it's comfortable to touch her. Hence, you put your hand on her back. Now, I also heard Hannah said earlier she's not a big fan of physical touch. Right. So, how do you
Depends
feel
on my
about that?
mood.
Come on. How do you feel about the hand on the back right now?
Like I said, I appreciate it because it's a courting gesture.
Okay.
Like if I was in like a bad mood and I didn't want anyone to touch me, that's probably when I canceled that first date. Like,
Okay. So you
see what I'm saying?
Perfect. But
Yeah.
now you didn't cancel, so you're obviously in somewhat of good mood.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm okay with the touching.
All right.
And I guess if I wasn't okay with the touching, I wouldn't have offered the hug.
Oh, yes, that's what I'm saying. Perfect. Okay, so now we're sitting down, right? Sitting across from each other in this situation, right? Great. I'm the bartender. What would you guys like to drink?
I would defer to her first and say,
Okay.
what are you getting?
Hannah, what would you like to drink?
I would say, may I please have a sparkling water with lime?
You're not drinking? Okay. What does that immediately tell you? Again, you just met her. She's sparkling water with lime, and you're at a bar. Go on, Kita.
What does that tell me about her?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that either she doesn't drink or she may not be comfortable drinking yet. So,
Okay, what would you get? What would you like to drink?
more alcohol.
He already has a beverage.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well, if
you
I'm
already
still
have
working on
one.
the beverage,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
I'm not
you
going to Jabba the Hutt my way through beverages and get like 5 at a time,
Definitely don't order Truly, by the way, FYI.
Yeah, we're not getting Truly.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'd say okay, cool. Yeah, I would either finish my drink and talk with her or
Okay.
keep drinking.
So now we're sat down. I'm gonna disappear right now. Go.
Okay. I'll take the lead. So, obviously, we haven't seen each other face to face at all until now. It's always kind of a little awkward, but the first thing that I just like to say to everybody is like, what do people get wrong about you when they first meet you?
That's a really good question. I don't get asked that often. I think people categorize me as a rough chick based on my appearance.
Are you eating nails for breakfast or like what's going on?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I like to hunt and kill my elk in my backyard since I live in Wyoming.
This guy's funny,
But I'm okay with it because then I get to know people and they get to know me and they see that I'm just a soft teddy bear.
Right. Yeah.
What would you? Can you answer that question for me?
Wait, what's the question?
What you asked me.
Oh, yeah. What people get wrong about me. Probably that I don't care. I'm a pretty aloof person, I would say. I'm usually just like head in the clouds, like thinking a lot. Resting bitch face is definitely a big part of just my everyday life. So I'm not necessarily mad. I'm just really deep in thought. So
I feel that. What
yeah, for sure.
what thoughts do you get lost? What type of thoughts do you get lost in the most?
Oh my gosh. So like not even joking.
Damn.
One of the things is that I really like stupid facts, really just like ridiculous things. But like philosophical questions, like which came first, the chicken or the egg, I will literally just have fun, just like trying to figure it out, but not figuring it out. It's just like playing a game with myself, having fun,
So what do you think happens when we die?
Ooh, I like that. Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah,
Get
good
straight
question,
into
good
it.
question.
I'm not religious.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not religious. So I think that my time
Thank you, Kat.
here
Thank
is
you,
the
Kat.
reality that I know, and I'm going to make the most of it, find purpose in it. And do the best to be my authentic self. And if there is something after, then that's great. And if there's not, then there's not. So I'm just here trying to appreciate this moment.
So what do you think the purpose of life is?
That's a good question.
You can think about it if you want.
Yeah,
I know
no,
it's
for
a tough
sure,
one.
for sure. I don't think that there's any one specific purpose of life. I think it's what you feel makes your life meaningful. So
Good answer.
whatever that is for you, you know, and if you believe there's an afterlife, then that's great. For me, it's just doing what I love, which is I like making music, I like writing, and that's it. Call it a day, keep it simple.
Would you say those things are like your flow state? You know what flow state is?
No, I don't think so.
Flow state is like whatever you're doing, you completely lose track of time. Like you're just so
Absolutely.
invested and it's just bringing you so much joy. Like I think everyone should have a flow state to default to as opposed to like maladapting coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
Like going through a hard time. So
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. And especially like just to be completely upfront and honest with you, having anxiety and then depression, like it's super useful to be able to default to those things, because going back to your purpose and what brings meaning to you really makes you just feel like it's a good time. You're here enjoying the moment, and that's what works for me. What about you? Like, what's your flow state?
definitely working out, running. Like I get that runner's high. I just get in the zone. At pretty much anything physical with my body. I think I have a hard time sitting still. So meaningful, thought-provoking conversations, someone that I can like bounce ideas off of is really cool, and I appreciate that a lot. So I appreciate your vulnerability with telling me that you have depression and anxiety. A lot of people struggle with that, and it's cool that to see men not hide that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, definitely, you know, it's definitely a struggle, but it's definitely not what makes us us. So that's it's good to hear that your solution is running and physical activity. Mine is music and reading. But other than that, to be honest with you, I have no idea where I'm going with this conversation. But
That's okay. What's your typical day off look like?
my typical day off, hiking.
Yeah, like if you
first
have
thing in the
no
morning.
work to do. What's that?
Hiking first thing in the morning.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah. I'm more of like the sit still, like just read a book kind of person.
Yeah.
I was like that as a child, you know, like
Opposites.
just living, looking at things, sitting still. So
Very calm.
hiking's great because you get to keep moving and pass, you know, all these trees, all this nature, especially because like so many of us spend so much time on computer screens or on phones. It's like, I just want to be able to literally just reconnect with just like life itself, with Mother Nature itself.
Yeah.
And I want to hear from you, like how you feel about your physical activities when you're running and stuff. But one thing I heard that was really interesting, if you don't mind me sharing, is that in nature, you as a person is literally your environment in front of you. Like you as a being existing is everything you see before you, your environment, because you're part of that. Like everyone's part of something bigger and greater, and you definitely feel that, I think, when you're hiking and you're connecting with nature. So I don't know what that is for you, but
so I know you said you're not religious, but so my thing is like I believe that there is a divine consciousness that connects us all, in between humans and in between nature, and like to feel that oneness and to be connected with people and nature is like it's like a very natural high for me. So I definitely get that when I go outside, and that's probably why I love living in Wyoming, because it's the least populated state. Like it's beautiful, there's mountains. That's another like flow state for me for sure. It's just like embracing that feeling of oneness.
I definitely feel that. Is it is it kind of like weird though, or like off-putting to hear from people who aren't religious, but they have that same kind of experience as you?
Well, I mean, I never considered myself religious. Like, I was
Yeah.
forced into Islam. And at one point, I stopped believing in a higher power. And then once I got a lot of mental clarity, and I did suffer with severe depression and anxiety, and then I reconnected with that higher power. I don't consider it religion. Like, I consider it spiritual. And I think we're saying the same thing, just understanding it differently.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really
Dragon.
beautiful, I think it's
Welcome,
a really
Dragon.
beautiful thing to be able to come to a common ground or a common understanding of that feeling, but we just think about it differently. Like, it's cool that we don't have to necessarily align 100% logistically or with, you know, the way we're semantics essentially.
Yeah.
So that's really cool that I've never experienced that before. So thank you for sharing that.
You too. I absolutely agree. It doesn't have to be like absolutely perfect, you know.
Yeah.
Do
But
you
yeah,
guys interject for a second?
Yeah. Wait,
First
what were you
off,
saying?
wow. Just wow. From the both of y'all. These questions. Oh my God. Yes. Fuck yes. Great questions, by the way. Great freaking questions. You know what triggers me? You know what grinds my gears? When people
hear it.
ask, what about you question. When they don't have their own and they just, what about you? What about you? Y'all don't do that. Y'all throw it out here and there, but y'all have your own questions, right? Y'all have your own qualifying questions. This is fucking great. Yes, right? And number two, y'all are listening. There's a difference between hearing and listening. And the fact of the matter that you guys bring up certain points that the person said. Oh, I noticed you said this. I noticed you said that. Oh man, it really shows that you're listening, right? And you see, number three, the flow of the conversation. It's growing. It's building. It's very intellectual. It's very thought provoking. It's fantastic, right? Listen, if I'm an audience member, I'm just gonna be like, yo, there's chemistry. All right? I'm just gonna throw it out there. There's chemistry. Good fucking job, guys. Good job.
I appreciate that.
Well, I owe it to my partner. I couldn't have done it without him.
You too.
Chat, this is how it should be, guys. This is how it should be. All right? We'll practice, we'll get there, but this is how it should be. All right? Great job. Great freaking job. Now, we're going to kick it up a notch, okay? I like this, okay? But I noticed one thing. Y'all
Yeah.
gonna ask about deal breakers.
That's
We're
true.
getting there. We had a lot to talk
I
about. We're
agree,
talking
but
about the
remember
meaning
what
of
I said?
life.
I said 5 to 10 minutes, girl. We gotta speed it up, girl.
Oh, I totally forgot.
Yeah.
I get it. If you know, that's what I said. Most average
Flow
dates
state.
are like, 2 to 3 hours, unless if they're going good.
I have feedback.
Yes, talk to me. Go for it.
Absolutely. So I felt like it was going in a really good direction. I felt like, if anything, it was going to lead more toward, in that moment, friendship, and then like possibly something more. But definitely not like just attraction and like sex right off the bat. It's like, let's just like chill, get to know each other.
Yeah.
No, no expectations, nothing, just chill out. We don't need to think about what our future is going to be like together. Like, let's just enjoy this moment.
Is that a good or bad thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great thing. Everyone's different, some people are going to get along and find immediate sexual attraction. Others aren't. Typically for me, it's been the case where in a happy relationship, that person is someone I chose because we had deeper conversations in the beginning.
Yes.
But it doesn't necessarily mean it has to go that way.
Okay.
I've met married couples who were friends for 1 to 3 years or so, and then they end up getting married and they end up sticking together. And sometimes it's just a matter of building that relationship until it's like, you know what? Let's talk about this. Let's figure it out. but yeah, it's just a matter of the energy between two people. There's no constant, no correct constant or specific constant for a developing relationship, whether that's platonic and goes to romantic or stays platonic. You just take it as it comes. So,
Okay. Hannah, any feedback?
Yeah, I appreciate the, like you said, the reciprocity in the conversation, and just kind of being able to answer my deep, thought-provoking questions. And yeah, it's fun. Definitely fun, which is what I go for, just like light and fun. Like dates or dinner doesn't have to be like this rigid, are we gonna have kids? Like it can be light and fun.
All right. I love the fact that, one, it did not feel like an interview between each other. Even though y'all had your questions, it wasn't like strict. It wasn't like clustered. It was none of that. That was amazing, right? Now, Hannah, I gotta ask, because we talked about, your thought-provoking questions that you love to ask. Your qualifying questions. Did you pass?
100%. Flying colors.
My ninja Keto, come on, baby, give me a high five. Let's go.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Let's go. No, that's amazing. Okay, and also, Keto, did she pass?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
come on, Anna. Come on. There we go. Yes.
I mean, I think what both of us see in each other is potential, because like we both enjoyed where the conversation was going. But I mean, you can't like just be like, oh yeah, this person like for the rest of time in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? But yeah, absolutely no red flags. No red flags for me. And no red flags is a perfect sign.
You said it. Yeah. You said the perfect word. Potential.
Right.
That's what you're looking for. Hey, can I possibly see myself with this person?
Yeah.
Or
even just like a second date. Like that's
is there
a good
potential
sign
for a future?
Yeah.
Which it could be a second date or even something further down the line with this person. Well said. Absolutely well said. All right. Now, we're going to go to the second part. I need you to ask the hard-hitting questions. Because whether we like it or not, we have things we do not like in partners that we need to find out now. Right?
Yeah.
Like, one of my things is this. I just learned about it, and I need to learn more. How do you respond in a fight? Like, what's your fighting language? We know love language, but there's also fighting language. So, I don't expect everybody to know what your fighting language is, but how do you respond to a fight? So, that's what I mean. That's my question. Like, are you avoidant, where you walk away? Or are you anxious, where you try to attack the problem immediately right away? You know what I'm saying? So, whatever your turn-offs are, ask those questions, right? Ask the hard ones. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself. 5 to 10 minutes. Go.
I guess. Okay, I'll start it off. Going from there.
Give me your toughest questions.
I was just gonna respond to that question, then and then go from there. Yeah. So obviously, like, nobody's perfect. I'm glad that we're on the same page with, like, we both view things similarly, but from like different contexts. I love that you kind of have some nature on your body tattooed. I think that's beautiful. So I see you're connected. Obviously, we can't all feel blissful and at one all the time. So probably when I'm in a tough situation with somebody, when I'm in a tough situation with a partner, and I'm getting flustered or I'm getting angry, I usually, to be honest, expect the partner with the calmer mind, whether that's me or the other person, to be able to take a step back and say, like, I'll talk to you when you're calm. When I'm in a situation where my partner is angrier than me, or in the past, I've been like, you know what, like, I want to talk to you, but right now is not great. You're not calm right now. And like, I'm sorry, but like, I've just got to like step away. We can definitely talk about this in a second. I know you're super mad, but I want us to just keep this like clear, keep this calm. So Obviously, it's impossible to be in the correct headspace 100% of the time when you approach those types of situations, but that's the approach that I always aim to take.
I would say I'm on the same page. Really, I think the first thing is getting in touch with how I'm feeling in the moment, because I won't be able to have a conversation or, cater to my partner if I'm not in a good place.
Yeah.
So I kind of just like do a body scan, like figure out what I need, figure out if I'm able to speak in a calm and loving manner. Because just because you disagree with someone doesn't mean you can't speak to them nicely.
Absolutely.
Unless you're having like some anger issues. So just evaluating myself. And then if I'm in a good place, I'll be like, how can I help you be in a better place? Like, what would make you the most comfortable? And generally, I feel like I am usually in a pretty good place, especially in times of crisis. So I think it would be handled appropriately.
I have a question for both of you guys. I'll ask Hannah first. Hannah.
Yes.
Right here.
I
What
can't-
hurts you? What makes you sad? What brings disappointment to you?
Being lied to. That's like my number one thing. I feel like it's really disrespectful that you like think that I deserve to be lied. Well, that's hearsay, but I just think lying is really disrespectful, and it automatically crumbles trust. And like trust to me is just the most important thing. So yeah, I'd rather be told like that they went and did something unfaithful than lie about it. I can handle that.
Okay. Being lied to. One of the number one reasons why people lie is because they don't want to hurt the other person's feelings.
Right.
So no matter what, don't lie to you.
Right.
No matter what.
No matter what. I can take
The
anything.
ugly truth. Tell you how it is.
100%.
You ask me if you look fat in those pants, I'm gonna tell you look fat in those pants.
Yes.
Okay? Just want to make sure where the line is. Okay? Cool.
Yeah.
Kito, what hurts you?
Honestly, it's within that same realm. It's definitely a sense of betrayal. I don't want to feel like I have to keep my eyes open watching like a hawk 100% of the time with any situation I'm in. And I feel like that's a common refrain with people, not even just in dating, but just in society. It's like, who's going to fuck you over? Keep your eyes open. Make sure that, you're 100%. And it's like, I want to live a simple life, like we do have to watch out for ourselves and we do have to keep our eyes open, but we also have to give other people the benefit of the doubt. So, fool me once, shame on you, won't get fooled again. And if you let it happen after that, then it's shame on you because you aren't taking the opportunity to really care for yourself. So, and really treat yourself with respect and treat yourself right. So definitely being betrayed and being lied to. Yeah.
Okay. Kito, what's your deal breaker? What's the line you're unwilling to cross?
Cheating and STDs. Yeah.
What specifically about STDs? As in, like, they already have an STD, or
they have an STD. They have an STD. I don't. It's just off-putting.
One that's curable or non-curable?
Curable I could understand, but non-curable definitely not. Yeah.
Okay.
Hannah? Yeah, I mean, if they're incapable of being faithful, that's a deal breaker because then the trust is gone.
Ooh! Pause. Keyword: incapable of being faithful. What classifies as incapable of being faithful, and how do you find that out?
Based on their behavior. I mean, like that guy that lied to me, like I knew he was sort of a player based on his like social media, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt because I tried to let people prove me wrong, and he proved me right. I think it's habitual sociopathic behavior.
Okay, that guy, you know, what, you were with him for like 2 months, so you saw that.
I mean, I wasn't even with him, but yeah.
But you
we
saw that
talked
2
for
months
2 months.
later. Right now, this
Yeah.
is a first date. You're on a first date with keto. You
Mm-hmm.
can't. That time invested hasn't happened yet, right? So how can you tell, or how can you qualify keto to see if he will repeatedly cheat or anything like that? Like, what
I mean, you
questions would you
can't.
ask?
Yeah, I mean, I would ask if you have a problem with being faithful, if you have a problem with monogamy.
Okay, I got you right now. Keto, have you ever cheated before?
No.
Is there any reason to cheat?
Yeah, I think you know, I try to take a stance of there's not a right or a wrong reason, there's not a good or a bad reason. There's only, like what we were talking about earlier, what people feel is lacking from the relationship. So, you know, the perspective I like to keep is, you know, I can't say that I would never do something
Right.
just because I haven't done it before.
No hypotheticals. I get you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So
How about this? I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
but just how about this? Let's just say you're in a relationship like you are
Yeah.
right now, right? Your partner is not able to fulfill your every need. You love them, they're amazing, they're fantastic, but they're not able to fulfill your every need. And in this situation, the most popular one, because there's multiple reasons to cheat, financially, emotionally, all that stuff, right? The more popular one, physically, they're not able to fulfill your physical need. Other than communication, which you're clearly very good at, right? What would you do? What's your response?
If they're not listening, I might do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hannah, after hearing that, how do you feel?
I would be understanding. I think if someone can't.
Also, the same question goes for you. If your partner is not fulfilled, like just as you said, I'll bring it back. The guy's great,
yeah.
the guy's fantastic, but he has a 2-inch dick, and you
I
know,
wouldn't be with them then.
huh?
Like, I wouldn't be with someone that I would feel I would have to go somewhere else for.
That's fair.
Okay.
You know, but I also, like, I can't expect a singular person to fulfill all my needs. I feel like that's unrealistic.
Hence, that brings back to monogamy versus polygamy, or even not. What do you do when one person can't fulfill all your needs? What do we do?
You're able to do it yourself. That's why you become one before you become two.
That was very zen. I like that.
I like that too.
But that's why I've done self-improvement and
Yeah.
for so long, because in the end it's only you. Like, at the end of the day, the end of your life, whatever it is, like,
Yeah.
you're the one that you got to count on. So I can never expect my partner to be able to fulfill all my needs. I think it's unrealistic. I need to find the person. Go ahead.
Can we have a toast? This
Oh.
was. You guys are awesome. Cheers. Cheers. Patai. Cheers. It's just rum.
Cheers.
that was fantastic. All right, we're coming down to the end. Final thoughts on the stream and the show. I'll start with you, Keto.
I think it's great. I think everything that you're doing here is wonderful because you're not imposing. You're simply getting to the truth the way anyone should. A big part of evaluating and being insightful is knowing how to ask the right questions, knowing how to help people navigate themselves. And so I love what you're doing here. I want you to keep it up. I want more people, and this is perhaps selfish, but I want more people to be like me and like Hannah, keeping an open mind about other people. No one's perfect. Everyone has their qualms with others. Everyone has their imperfections. We know what those imperfections are. You need to not be afraid to ask the hard questions of yourself and even ask the ones you love, because what's going to happen is that if you're vulnerable with the people who you care about, you're going to find out whether or not they truly care about you or whether they don't. And you're going to be able to make better decisions for yourself so you're not hurting yourself in the long run. So be authentic to yourself, Be honest, no matter how superficial you may think it may be, no matter how deep you may think it may be. Be completely honest. Also, my cat screaming, but
I thought it was the
daughter. But yeah, just be authentic to yourself. Be honest, no matter how hard it is, because typically, and this is the last thing, what's best for you is probably, if you're not a complete insane human being who's a narcissist or a sociopath, typically what's best for you is also what's best for someone else. When you respect yourself, you're also respecting someone else. So do what's best for you. Be honest about what's best for you with other people so they can also make the best decision for themselves.
Okay. Wow. Hannah, I don't know how you're going to follow that up, but...
Well, I think the key with dating, like I've been saying, is getting to know yourself first, developing self-respect. Like, be non-judgmental with yourself. You'll be non-judgmental with other people. And use dating as a tool. Like, a lot of the times we don't know what we want, but we do know what we don't want. So that's why, like, going into the dating world and meeting people and you figure out what you don't want, that'll help you figure out what you do want in the long run.
Yes.
It's really hard to figure out what you want without that interaction, without that feedback. So I think just developing that self-respect and that non-judgmental, malleable outlook will get you so far when just meeting a bunch of different people and finding that person you want to be with or people you want to be with.
I get you. Hannah, what would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned in your collective years of dating? The biggest lesson you've learned? Not tip, just lesson.
Put myself first.
Okay.
Be selfish first, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Like, you can't, I don't think you can love someone properly until you love yourself, because the codependency is just huge. Like, you're gonna do things to make other people happy regardless of your own needs, and like, you have to come first. Same thing even with like a mother with its children. Like, the mother has to come first before you can take care of your children.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
That's really good.
I feel like I'm in church right now. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Hannah.
I mean, you've heard that before. That's a normal phrase.
No, it's good. It's good. It matches up, though. You're preaching
But be
to the choir.
selfish. Take care of yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. Get your shit in order so you don't dump your shitty shit on someone else's shit.
Absolutely. You
know
can't
what's-
help others until you help yourself.
Yes.
And that's it. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not, that's not narcissism. That's not cruel selfishness.
No.
That's making sure you're a functional adult before you go and involve someone else.
Mm-hmm. And there's a difference between being selfish and being self-centered. Being selfish is perfectly okay.
Yep.
You need to do what's best for you. Being self-centered is different. That's me mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Codependency is an ugly thing that we develop in childhood.
I
a lot of
personally
times.
think that what you say, Hannah, is talking to empaths specifically, because being an empath is a double-edged sword. You care so much about other people. At times you put other people's feelings before yours.
Yeah.
In this moment, you really, really need to put your feelings first. What do I want first?
Right.
You know, so fantastic. Keto, biggest lesson you've learned collectively in your years of dating, even relationships too.
Biggest lesson I've learned collectively: low energy always succeeds. That's it.
Ooh, elaborate.
Let me explain that briefly. Low energy is remaining calm. The person who's calm has the potential to take charge of the situation that you're in with the other person. Someone gets angry, but you're calm. That person's not in control of themselves. You have the potential to bring control into the conversation for the betterment of you and the other person. That goes for anything. That goes for you in your relationship, getting your partner getting angry and saying, like I said earlier, I see you're really angry right now. I want to have this conversation with you, but I need to walk away because we're both not going to have a constructive conversation. Just low energy, staying grounded, always wins out. Always stay grounded.
Wow. Guys, thank you for going way over an hour with me.
Yeah.
This was awesome. Guys, thank you so much. Is there anything else you guys want to share before we go?
I really appreciated having this talk with all of you. It was definitely, I didn't go in with any expectations, obviously, but I was glad that I was able to feel a connection with you, Hannah, and also with you as well. And that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I've learned so much tonight. My God, I've learned so much. Like, as I said, your truth is your perspective, and there's so much more that I don't know. So, like, these talks, swear to God, mind blowing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, people really think like that? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
Yeah.
teaches me to be a little bit more empathetic. So it's fantastic. Hannah, anything?
I just appreciate y'all's time. Time is the most valuable thing we have, and
Yes, it is.
for someone to converse with me for however many hours, I feel very appreciative, and I feel like I learned something new, like the 3, 2, 1, slap me or kiss me. Like, I'm gonna take that with me.
I guarantee you, she's gonna try it out. Within the next week, she's gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. You should. Please let us know how that goes.
I will let you know for sure.
All right,
I'm happy
listen.
to test it out.
I would love to have you guys back on anytime again. Feel free to hit me up. I'm
For
gonna
sure,
send you guys
yeah.
my number right afterwards. After we
I have
finish
your
up.
number, I think.
All right, awesome. I feel like you sent me your number too, didn't you, Keto? But
I did, yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm reading the message, bro, and I can't keep track of it because it says reply. I'll try to go back to the email and keep track of it.
For sure,
I'll
for sure.
go back. I'm gonna send you my number. If you guys want to come back, feel free. I don't have a set schedule, which took me so long to respond to you guys because I just started a new job and I'm just finished doing training. So I'm trying to see what my set schedule is, and then I can set my schedule for the dating podcast, right?
Sounds good. Yeah.
I want to do. The goal is I want to do it like these talks every single day. We'll bring up different topics. Also, if you see anything that comes across your TikTok, send it to me. Like, let's talk about it. Like, yo, Craig, this is a good thing to talk about, and then we can go in a whole debate about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
I've got some books for you, some suggestions for you.
Yes, send me all of them. I'm completely down for that. Yeah, as I said, the goal is to educate, to learn. I will bring in a lot more people, and I want to bring in more LGBT community because I don't know what it's like for a guy to date a guy or for a girl to date a girl, and I don't know what the rules are. Like, for example, when it comes to girl and girl, who pays the bill, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, most guys are like, oh, the guy would pay the bill, but who pays the bill? Or when it comes to girl, I don't know. There's so many questions. We can go into so many other things. There's so many things I don't know. So I want to grow the community where we can bring in people because also our audience, right? We're talking about dating right now on a guy and girl perspective, but what if the audience member is like, hey, there's a guy in my class that I like, and I don't know how to talk to him. I don't know how to be open.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to share my sexuality, right? So the goal is to like bring in more and more people and to educate, as I said. So
yeah, I love what you're doing. It's awesome.
No, thank you. You guys made the show. I'm just sitting here soaking it all up. All right, I'm the sponge. You guys are fantastic. All right.
Sure.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Feel free to stay in touch. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you so much, Craig.
Night. Thank you, Keto. Thank you, Craig.
One last
Yeah,
time
for sure,
guys.
Cheers,
by the way,
boys.
cheers to new friends.
Cheers.
Yes.
Much love.
Cheers.
Much love.
Yes.
Take care.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hold on. Wrong scene. And camera. There we go. All right, guys. Once again, thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Fatai, Austin. Once again, Austin, thank you so much for the dono, man. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for hanging out. Fatai, my man. What's in the rum? It's just straight up rum, straight up Jamaican rum. Kathy, thank you so much for the love and support. You've been fantastically the past 6 years, so you've been great. Ben, my ninja Ben. Ben, thank you so much for always hanging out in our dating streams. Ben, thank you so much for the Prime sub as well. Don't forget, guys, if you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free. Amazon, owns Twitch. So you get one free sub once a month, every single month. So feel free to use a free Amazon sub. Okay. I want to say thank you so much again to our new followers. Nurset, thank you. Gregor, I know you did this earlier before I was here, but Gregor, thank you so much for the hot dogs, the 60 mana. Well, I think it's like 120 because it did times 2. Ketzutsu, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the team. Glad to have you. Dragon, thanks so much for stopping by. Rachel, I can't wait for your videos. Your videos are going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait to sit down and edit them. It's just so much to go through. All right. Steelers, David. Once again, all of you guys, thank you guys so much. Okay. More importantly, guys, not more importantly, but also thank you. I want to thank our host for coming out again. I want to thank Keto, and I want to thank Hannah. Okay. Thank you guys so much for all the love. I appreciate it. Everybody, have a great night, okay? Cheers, guys.